we're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
Man! Hey, listen. If we're going, shouldn't I have a gun?
No.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. Take it away.
Welcome. I hope everyone is well. I'm Vass, and this is my homeboy Pete. And yes, it's that time again where we go through the movies we watched this week as we count down these 31 days of Halloween. This week was Slasher Week, but before we get to the slashy stuff, it's customary to talk about the new films we have seen this past 7 days. But Pete, how's your week been, mate? What have you been up to?
My week's been brilliant. Great to be here with you again, mate. It's been very busy. I've had work to contend with, but my daughter's prepping for my daughter's 16th birthday. It was my daughter's 16th birthday on Saturday, yesterday, and as part of it. I know, happy birthday, Molly. But she's a big movie fan and a big manga fan, so she wanted to go to Comic-Con, Edinburgh Comic-Con for a birthday, which suited me down to the ground. I love Comic-Con too. And part of it was Tony Todd, the Candyman, was going to be there in full Candyman get-up. And I thought, well, I am going to make sure I get my photo. I don't care how much it costs, me and Candyman. And do you know what fucking Tony Todd did? He cancelled 4 days before Edinburgh Comic Con. He said he's in Sweden. Yeah, I was tweeting him going, you bastard. so he didn't reply to my tweets, the bastard. But if you're out there, Tony, fuck you. Anyway, so I went to Comic Con, mate. Had a blast. Billy Zane was on stage. Strickland from Back to the Future was on stage calling everybody slackers. I walked past the Lost Boys saxophone guy. Ewan McGregor was there, but he was charging a fortune for like photographs and stuff like that. But I just fired in the merchandise, mate, and just had my credit card on me, and I was just purchase. Can I show you some of the things that I purchased today?
Yes, please. I'd love to see that, mate.
Okay, so first thing, it's kind of standard, mate, but I got American Werewolf in London in 4K. So I've not checked it out yet, but I thought 4K, I'll nab that. But here we go. Well, first of all, I'll show you this. Now, this is from this stall that I went to. Is the same stall that I bought my really cool French Evil Dead poster from. They're called WernerMoviePosters.com. And if you are a genuine collector, then I would suggest you go and check these guys out. If anyone wants the address, they can give Bass a shout. But I'll show you what I bought. This was a little small kind of poster. You expect to see this poster when you kind of walk in a cinema door or something like that, okay? Check it out. It's The Adventures of Jack Burton. And whatever the fuck that says in French as well. But yeah, that's what they called it in French. And I thought, I am going to buy that and frame that. And
it's sick, man.
It is fucking awesome, isn't it? So it was, very hard to get these things. But, you know, the guy behind me goes, oh, do you want to see another poster? Because, I mean, that was €50, right? So it wasn't cheap. Mm-hmm. And I goes, okay. He goes, you've got another Big Trouble in Little China. He goes, yeah, it's massive. And he showed me this bus stop size poster of Big Trouble in Little China, and it was nuts, insane. And it's a completely different poster that I've never seen before. But the only problem with it was Kurt Russell didn't look like Kurt Russell. He just looked slightly off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I had a novelty
Yeah.
value for it. Everybody else looked perfect, but Kurt Russell didn't look perfect. But he wanted £150 for that, and I was like, "No, fuck you." So yeah, I think of it. But check this out. And by the way, Vasi, I've got you a gift, which I'll reveal after this one. All right, a little gift for Vasi.
Can't wait.
Well, it's not a little gift; it's a big gift. It's awesome. Right, but this one is super cool. I'm gonna have to stand up to do this, so excuse my stretchy pants. All right. Yeah. Now this is an original teaser poster from 1978, and it's got the stamp of the cinema, well, the American Association of Cinemas on it. So it's the teaser poster for Superman. You'll believe a man can fly. Aye. So
is that an original poster?
An original poster, mate. An original poster. This is
That is fantastic.
And if you look down, well, you can't really see, but in that corner there is the code number for it. So every cinema that displays a poster, they were supposed to return them, you see, and that's how they code them, so they know which cinema, which region it's gone out to. So that was my purchase of the day.
That is cool as hell, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get that mounted professionally and get that framed. So that was £100.
Yeah, absolutely.
£100. And to be honest, I thought it was a steal. I thought it was a steal at £100, man. Do you know they had an original Raiders of the Lost Ark poster, mate? One sheet of it. They wanted 95 quid for it, and I was like, "Why is this so cheap? I've seen these for £300, £400." And he said, "Look at the corner," and the corner was torn. It was missing. And I was like, "I don't want to buy it." And I was tempted, mate, but I never, because of that fucking corner. And I thought, even if I frame it, it looks like. But when I drove away, mate, I was like, "You should have bought it. You should have bought it." But that's always happened. Right now,
Buyer's regret.
On for your present, mate. Right? I think you'll like this. Now, hold on 2 seconds, mate.
I have to full screen this.
It is a massive poster. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ooh!
Oh, Peter, I love you, man.
How good is that, mate?
Is that for me?
That is for
That's
you.
amazing, man.
Now, I confess it's not an original, but it's a beautiful reprint, mate. It is a beautiful reprint. It's really thick as well, so you could either just put the poster on your wall, or you could frame that, mate. So I'll whack that in a tube and send that down to you, mate.
Hey, man, you absolute legend, mate. Thank you so much.
No problem. I saw that and I thought, they had a Halloween 3 one as well, which I was quite tempted to get for myself. But at that point, I'd spent 200 quid on posters, and I went, "Stop it. The missus was looking at me going, "Fucking put that credit card away." So I put my credit card away and I went home. But the kids bought loads of swag and stuff like that. So it was a good day, mate. But in all honesty, far too busy. You can't move at some point. You're walking through people's flats. It's that busy and that you're like walking into people's flat clouds and that, and you're like, "What the fuck, man?" But nerds all over the place, mate, and cosplayers all over the place, and some quite attractive women in cosplays. And I have to say, all the Poison Ivies walk past me, and that I was like, "God damn!" I've got glasses, and they go black if there's sunlight. And luckily for me, they were black because of my nipples. My eyes were all over the place. I was like, anyway. So that has been my weekend. that has been my weekend, mate. That has been my weekend, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. And
great stuff.
I watched 7 horror movies, and no one, the beauty of this challenge for me, mate, is the family know about it, and I've pretty much got permission to watch horror films every day of the week all October with no hassle. They just let me get on with it because they know it's our project. So I've also had that as well, mate. So a good week and a good weekend, and I'm pleased you like your gift.
Fantastic. I love it, man. I love it.
Good.
You're so cool, man, Pete.
No problem.
I don't know what to say. I'm not a word. That's amazing, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. How have you been?
Right. I've just been watching loads of movies, pal. Loads and loads of movies. These slashes, man. It's been total carnage with these movies. I think that's the theme for this week. Is just carnage and blood and people getting stabbed and all sorts of things. Oh man, that's been very gruesome.
It has. It has. So you mentioned other movies that we've seen. Go for it, Vass. What have you seen this week?
Well, I suppose you may as well talk about the big movie this week, which was Hellraiser. I watched Hellraiser, and I guess you watched it too.
Yep, I watched it.
Let me get it, as we like to call it.
Welcome to hell, bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah, I liked it, man. I thought it was a good film. It was the first half was pretty slow, but once Pinhead arrived, things picked up, and I did enjoy it. Kind of thought the whole thing was a bit unnecessary, to be honest with you, mate.
She could have thrown that fucking box away a million times, mate. Just throw it away. That's all I kept saying most of through the movie. I was like, put it in the bin. Fucking.
And I mean, last. I didn't like her very much. I thought they would have got someone a bit better than her. I don't think she could carry the movie. I mean, she was an actress, so she was fine as an actress, but I would like something a bit nicer to look at during the whole movie. She was a bit freaky looking. She looked like about herself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I agree with every word you say, mate. I liked it. I wasn't in love with it. The second half was way better than the first half. When the Cenobites showed up, it was a little bit jarring because there's a lot of new designs going on there. A couple of the designs I thought, were a little bit, how can I put it, in the Star Trek with the makeup, but I was on board with it. Pinhead was fine. I mean, quite scary. It missed Doug Bradley's voice, if that makes any sense. We'll tear your soul apart. I missed that kind of intensity because Pinhead in this one's very like kind of monotone, same tone, or whatever Pinhead's saying. So, but these are small criticisms, mate. The movie went on like a breeze. Pacing I found was all right. It was suitably gory, and the ending I thought was great. I thought I'm quite looking forward to a sequel with that guy as. I'll shut up. I was going to say a word there that completely would have spoiled the movie, so I'll shut up. But I'm quite looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think if they'd knocked maybe 15-20 minutes off it, especially from that first half, I think it would have been much better. But it wasn't bad. It was all right. It was I mean, I don't know if I'll be running out to watch it again, but it was fine. It was a lot more like Hellbound than it was the original Hellraiser, I thought. I like the callbacks to Hellbound, like with that Leviathan thing that was spinning around. It was just exactly from Hellbound, wasn't it?
The dagger as well. I also like the musical nods that kept going all the way through. They kind of like they brought the nostalgia back in for the first couple of movies for me. I liked it, mate. I thought it was suitably sick and twisted, but just lacked a little bit of viciousness that Clive Barker's originals had. But from what I gather, Clive Barker
Hellbound was more of a fantasy sort of feel to it, and this one didn't. That's what I like about Hellbound. It's very fantasy with the horror, but this one was just I mean, it wasn't like a fantastic story. It was a pretty basic story, was it?
If I can point out one scene that made me laugh, mate, I always like horror movies that unintentional laughs, right? And the one scene was like, here we are, we're the Cenobites, we're all powerful, we're all this, don't you ever fuck with us, we're from hell. No, don't close a door on me. Stuck in a door, and I went, oh! I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're useless. And then,
Sorry,
exactly. One Cenobite gets stabbed, and I swear to God, the Cenobite actually goes there. Oh! I got a giggle out of that, mate. Too, but listen, like I said, I enjoyed it. It certainly it wasn't offensive at all, and there was a very real danger that movie could have been, complete garbage. But it wasn't. I think it was dealt with quite nicely.
Yeah. Well, it was much better than Jeepers Creepers Reborn, which I did watch last week. I know you haven't seen that yet, but that was a bad movie, man. I was actually quite hopeful because the intro has got like Dee Wallace in it, and it's nice. It reminds me of the first movie, the intro, but it only lasts like about 5 minutes, and then the actual movie kicks in, and the movie's completely different. And it was bad, man. It was bad all the way through. They've totally ruined that franchise with the third and this one.
Is it as bad as the third?
I'd say it is. I think it's worse than the third. I could even say that it was worse than the third. It's that bad. So yeah.
So skip it. You're saying skip it?
Yeah. There's no reason to watch it. No reason to watch it at all.
I'm
not missing a thing. And the creeper didn't even feel like the creeper, man. Didn't look like him. Didn't act like him. I don't know, man. They just
low budget.
Yeah, it was pretty low budget, and you could see a lot of the CG and the green screen backgrounds and stuff. It was super fake.
Wow,
didn't like it.
That's a shame, man. That is a shame.
I know. When I remember one of the few trailers I saw for a horror movie this year, and I thought, oh, this might be good, and then I watched it, and it was like, nope.
Well,
people wanted me to watch it, and I didn't. I didn't need to.
I had hoped that new life would have been brought into it. The third one felt like everything was dead. You can't get any worse than this. So when they said, "Oh, kind of, we're Jeepers Creepers Reborn," it's going to be, a kickstart to the franchise. Completely different director, different people. So don't worry about that bad taste, etc., etc. I thought, let's give this a go, and and I saw the trailer, and the trailer looked a bit messy, right enough, but it seemed fun. It seemed fast paced and all that. So it's disappointing to hear that, mate. But listen, I trust you. If you say
right, let's have a look at some of these comments, mate. The real fifth Beatle, Mike. Hey, fellas. All right, mate. My wife, hiya. Nice to see you. I haven't put them on the screen again. Mike says, you guys watch Chucky? No, mate. I wasn't watching Chucky. I was off the first season. I don't think I'll be going on to the second season. You, Pete? Same?
Mate, I was off the first. I kind of lost a bit of interest, mate, and I've just never picked it up. And at this point, being reintroduced to your good self, Assie, and doing this with you has helped me, if you like, rediscover a little bit my joy for horror movies. So I'm firing into a lot of movies that I've missed and stuff like that. So it's all about the movies and less about TV shows for me at this point.
Totally. Let's have a look here. My sister says, Pete, those bosses are too cool, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man. So how much do you think you spent in total on that? Was it one day you were there? Was it 2 days? Just one day?
Just one day. So it's like I spent 80 quid on tickets, £5 to park. I bought a can of Coke, which was like a £5, and then £200 on posters. My kids spent about 100 quid. Yeah, and I bought a cake, which was 9 quid. And when I say a cake, I'm like a cupcake because I was starving. We actually didn't have much food there.
Man.
Yes, but woe betide you eating anything in Comic-Con because you're like that going, and then someone walks past you and you're like, whoa, you got cake all over your face, and that it's brutal. Like, and there was even a wrestling match for no reason at all. Wrestling match, but weird.
Okay, queer. Speaking of queer, Mike says Pinhead has pronouns now. Yeah, I think it was it. Yeah, they, them.
I hear that they, them. I'm not too sure.
Mike says, if you want viciousness, watch Terrifier 2. I've heard lots of things about this movie. I think it's going to be good.
Mike the Fifth Beatle, how have you seen Terrifier 2 already? Where is it available? Is it streaming? Is it streaming?
I don't think it is. Not yet. I thought it was coming out near the end of the month. I thought.
I want to see it. I want to see this 2.5-hour opus. I have to say, my understanding is it's a middle chapter, an Empire Strikes type chapter from a trilogy. So. We'll see what the deal is, but you can't fault the director for ambition. 2.5-hour opus. I think he's wrote, directed it, edited it. He's pretty much write the theme tune, sing the theme tune, and all that. He's done everything. So I respect that talent. To be fair,
totally. Mike says Jeepers Creepers Reborn was off. It was, mate. Why didn't you tell me that last week? Could have avoided it. Never mind. Gareth says, evening boils and ghouls. You all right, Gareth, mate? Nice to see you here, mate. He's just saying hello. And he's saying hello back. Mike says, the sexualization of Lexi and Chucky is very uncomfortable. She's 14. Craigie. Well, the less said about that, the better.
That's not good, that's not good.
Mike says, I've not seen it, mate, just what I've heard, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I heard it made some money. I don't think it was on a wide release in America, but I think it's done really well.
So it's a good
business. That time is putting me way off, like.
Yeah. I mean, so it certainly you're getting your money's worth right enough if you buy a cinema ticket for it. But I think on Twitter, it's kind of blown up on Twitter, and there's a lot of the right people talking about this and really kind of promoting it. So fair play. Even if you don't like the movie or like the content or whatever, it's fair play for little horror movies doing big things. So but damn right, I want to see it.
Absolutely, yeah. Right, what else have we seen? Did you see? I watched this. I was on Disney, and I watched that Werewolf at Night. I know I was going to watch Hocus Pocus too, and then a voice inside my head saying, "Dude, you're not a 12-year-old girl. Don't watch that." And I went, "You're right, mate. I'm not." So I didn't watch that. But I did watch the Werewolf at Night. Did you watch that? On Disney?
I want to watch it. I like the trailer. It looked good.
It's all right. It's worth a watch. It wasn't great. I thought it wasn't scary. There's not much werewolf stuff happening in there, to be honest. But it was fine. It was fine for a Marvel thing. I didn't mind it at all.
I was going to say, I've not. Some of it's been all right, but I've not been a massive fan of Marvel's output since Endgame. If I'm being honest with you,
Okay.
even Doctor Strange 2. I went to the cinema and I loved it, and then I watched it again. And it just bored the shit out of us. I think it was a one-time movie. Spider-Man, is kind of different because I kind of see that as a Sony Marvel movie rather than a Disney Marvel. But just all the other kind of side movies and stuff like that. I think the last thing I really, really enjoyed was Loki. I really, really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. That was good. Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder was quite funny, but it wasn't a great.
It wasn't great. It wasn't.
So I think the last Marvel output that I really, really enjoyed was Loki for sure. Looking forward to season 2 of that.
Yeah, I mean, we as a family we watched Miss Marvel, and we really enjoyed that. But I know lots of people didn't. So
I've not seen it, mate. But to be fair with series,
very stylish.
I've missed I've missed She-Hulk, I've missed that Andor business, the Star Wars one as well. So I am behind on TV shows, and these are shows that I want to watch at some point.
Did you watch Mr. Harrington's Phone on Netflix, the Stephen King?
Yes, I did.
What did you think about it?
Yeah, after the trailer, I was quite excited about it, mate. I liked the look of the trailer. It was ominous. And the setup for me with Donald Sutherland of the movie is very good. But boy, it's a long setup. It's like an hour. And it's quite sad in parts as well, because I like Donald Sutherland as an actor, so it was good to see him there. He's like a warm, a comfort blanket. There's Donald Sutherland. There's the clumsy waiter. He's right in front of me. Happy days. But ultimately, it felt like a Stephen King short story that was always meant to be a short story and never a full, feature.
Totally agree. Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was interesting enough. It wasn't scary. It wasn't trying to be scary. I don't know. I think they'll just make anything. If Stephen King did it, they'll just try and make anything, because I've seen lots of Stephen King stuff, and I'm thinking, why the hell did they make that for? It was watchable. A one-time watch.
Performances were quite nice.
I think that kid little kid's going to be in the Lost Boys reboot. I heard.
Oh,
that
really?
One from he's in It, isn't he? The main kid. Yeah, it's going to be. I don't know who he's going to play in Lost Boys, but he's going to be in that.
Fair play.
What else do you watch? I watched that movie Fall. I think you mentioned that to us backstage one time. Yeah, it was good. It was all right. You're right. It was very similar to in theme. The way it plays out, it was quite similar to 47 Meters Down. Like with that little twist near the end there.
Yeah.
But that was all right. It was all right. It had its moments, for sure.
Did I tell you the director of that movie comes from Newton Aycliffe?
Get lost.
Comes from Newton Aycliffe.
Are you serious?
Google him.
You having a laugh?
Comes from Newton Aycliffe, Greenfield School, mate, from our hometown. He made another movie with it was a Sky Movies original, and it was Blumman Drax from is it Drax or from Guardians of the Galaxy? What's his name? Wrestler dude, huge guy. What's his name?
Dave Bautista.
Yeah. Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah. It's a Dave Bautista movie. and West Ham were at the were playing a football game at home, and West Ham were in the Champions League final. So already they lost me there, right? Because there's got to be a certain bit of believability, but there's no way. And then it's basically Die Hard in a football stadium in the UK with West Ham in the Champions League final, right?
Yeah.
And it was this guy originally. It was an okay movie, it breezed along, but that was his next movie. But he's from Newton Aycliffe, County Durham, our hometown, man. That's cool.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
gone on big things. That is, yeah. It's crazy to think about, isn't it?
Exactly. We should tap him up on Facebook or something like that. Pretend we know him and from ages, and see if we can get a job in a movie set.
Yeah, we might have beaten him up when he was a kid or something.
Or vice versa.
We didn't beat anybody.
We didn't beat anyone. Totally.
It's true. Right, Mike says Halloween ends, cinema or streaming. Well, it's going to be streaming for me. I didn't like Kills at all. And
yeah, I mean, listen,
2018
pissed me off so
it's overrated in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be streaming for me as well, because, like I said, Kills pissed me off big time. It was so shit. So I really hope this one ends well. I know through watching your stream, Mike, a couple of weeks ago, you had a couple of theories about what the trailer meant, and I don't want to spoil anything here or anything like that, just in case. But I really hope that's not the case. I really hope your theory is wrong, because if it's right, which I think it probably is, by the way, holy shit, that's shit. And John Carpenter has also alluded to, listen, this might not be the end as well. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, please let it end. Please let it end. So I hope I hope Jamie Lee Curtis gets a fitting send off, and that's about the very most I can hope for out of this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we get a little bit less of Evil Dies Tonight and all that pish, and a bit more directly, a bit more direct action. You know what I mean? Essentially, they made us wait 3 movies for the ending. We should have got part 1. The fuckers, because they want more money. So it's streaming, definitely no more money from me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I thought what Halloween Kills had going for it. Had some nice images. When he's coming out the house and it's on fire and like everything's in flames around him. That's some nice shots.
The trailer
was Halloween 2. The original Halloween 2. So I'm not. A lot of people really like that movie. I feel it leaves me a bit cold, but that's the same. It's got some really kind of really good shots in there that I like. Kind of feel a little bit iconic sort of thing.
Absolutely. I felt that they showed most of the movie in the trailer, most of the good bits in the trailer for the movie, and the trailer is actually a better watch. The trailer's a better watch.
Have you watched the trailer for Halloween for this last one?
No. I just because the last Halloween trailer spoiled so much. I have watched this one just to go in completely fresh.
Yeah. My sis says, dude, you are 12-year-old. Get lost. Taking the piss. Mike says Phase 4 was bad. Yes, yeah. I think a lot of people are turning on Marvel at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going that way.
Yeah.
I think, there's an oversaturation of of comic book movies and comic book TV shows, and same as Star Wars now. People are starting to roll the fucking eyes when they see a new Star Wars show coming on. I never thought that would ever be the case, but it just shows you, if this content is always there, people are just going to get I mean, at the moment, Andor, and this is the reason why I haven't really turned it on, is a prequel to the prequel of Star Wars, and I'm like, do we really need a series to be a prequel to the prequel of Star Wars? I don't think we do, but it's money. I
think Marvel and Disney have got down the technical aspect of filmmaking. They've got that down perfectly. All their stuff's looks great, and it's really well done. But I think the stories, I think they're lacking at the moment totally.
Yeah. It's just once you've seen 2 guys throwing CGI at each other 50 times, it gets a bit dull, eh? And that's the end of every Marvel movie or Marvel series. It's one guy chucking a bit of CG at somebody, and some guy going, "Oh no," and chucking a bit of CG back, and you're like, "All right, where's the peril? Where's the danger?" the reason why Die Hard's such a popular movie is the first time you watch it, you genuinely thought there was a possibility of John McClane might fucking die. And that's why it had you on the edge of your seat. You know, and there's no peril like that in any of these movies, unfortunately.
What is your favorite Marvel movie?
I'm going to say Infinity War. Infinity War. I thought it was. I remember coming out the cinema with Infinity War, thinking that was just that fucking blew me away. I thought it was awesome. Endgame, not so much, but Infinity War was.
That's my second favorite. My favorite is Winter Soldier.
Oh, I like Winter Soldier as well.
I thought it was just a kick-ass action movie.
Yeah,
that was actually what got me into Marvel, because I'd missed loads of Marvel movies. I just wasn't interested. Yeah. And I watched that one, and that was so kick-ass. Then I started watching them, and they were getting better and better. And then Infinity War came out, and that was wicked. And then from then, it just kind of started going down and down and down again. And now everybody's turning on it. Yeah. Gareth says he's going to watch Halloween Ends on streaming. And Mike says Fall was a fun watch. It certainly was, yeah. Cool Fix 24. Oh, what's up, man? Hey, Vass, nice to see you, man. I'll follow this guy. He's awesome. Riggy from All the F Reviewers. What would happen if Alfie was on the stream? I don't know, mate. What would happen? Dave Boosty. Hiya, pal. Nice to see you here. All the F Reviewers. Ricky, where's my goddamn blue spanner? Yeah, have you not got one? Everyone, if you were here that first week, we give almost everyone a blue spanner. But
really?
You missed it. Hiya, Davey, man.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hope you're doing well. Mike says, Hollywood's obsession with woke doesn't translate to box office, but they're too stupid to realise. That's right. I mean, even the Hellraiser had to have a bloody gay couple in there. You already know it's going to be there before you watch the movie. It's just standard now.
I think it's become a point in culture where you're called out for not having these things. I'll give you a wee example. My son loves fucking Super Mario Brothers, and Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario. And the trailer landed the other day, and the trailer literally shows Jack Black for the entire trailer, and then Mario says about one thing, because people were saying, well, Hangfire, the voice of Mario surely should be, an Italian actor or someone who has that accent. Why Chris Pratt? Blah 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 blah. And they kept Mario's dialogue to like 2 words because they were scared of the backlash. And I said to my son, well, goes, it's a no-win situation here. And goes, because if Chris Pratt puts on an Italian accent, that's racist. If he doesn't put it on an Italian accent, then it sounds nothing like Mario, and you're pissed off at that. Yeah. What's it? He goes, oh, it shouldn't be Chris Pratt. It should be somebody else. I'm like, but you tell a marketing department to go and hire an Italian actor, or do you want Chris Pratt with all his box office and all this? And what you find is movies these days, especially more so studio movies, the marketing department are in full control. And it's like, we need this. Twitter's trending at the moment, and this is a hot issue. Let's include it. And you're finding that social media is having a massive impact on the content of our movies at the moment.
Agreed, man. Dave says, I didn't like Infinity War as much as Endgame. For Infinity War, we already knew most everybody was going to come back. Anyway, Marvel kept telling us behind the scenes over and over.
True. They're releasing, movies, future slate movies. So you thought, well, that guy's definitely not going to die. Yeah, true.
And Mike says they've made Velma a lesbian, and now they've race swapped her. Have they really?
Oh, I didn't know the race swap. But I think Thelma was a lesbian back in 12 years ago in James Gunn's Scooby-Doo movie. I think they hinted that quite strongly, but back in James Gunn's movie, I think it's Scooby-Doo 2. Yeah.
All right.
So, but I
thought she went out with Shaggy. Was she not? Used to be the DC boyfriend. Maybe I'm thinking of the cartoon, the DC boyfriend.
Maybe in the cartoon, yeah.
Right, mate. Should we get on with these movies?
I suppose so, mate. Let's do it.
Right, okay. So it was Slasher Week this week. We watched 7 movies. Let's have a look at what movies there were. So last Monday, it was High Tension. Tuesday was the Prowler. Wednesday was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. Thursday was Dream Home. Friday was The Slayer. Yesterday was X. And today was Maniac. So what's that like? 2 remakes, 2 video nasties, 2 foreign films, and 1 film that came out this year. So, right, let's get on with this first movie. So tell us, mate. Tell us about High Tension.
Right, day 1, High Tension or Hot Tension or Switchblade Romance, whatever you know of it as. Directed by Alexander Aja, and this is from 2003. So a brief idea of the storyline for anyone who hasn't seen it. Marie and Alex are off on a wee car journey in rural France to go and visit Alex's family. And Marie, you get the distinct impression, is in love with Alex. They go to kind of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre rural type setting, farmhouse in the middle of nowhere in rural France. And I've been to rural France. That's where my missus's dad stays, and it's fucking exactly like in the movies, by the way. You know, if anything happens, nobody's coming to help you. Like, nobody's coming to help you. I once got so bored, I decided to walk to a town to go to a pub, mate. I walked for 6 hours and found nothing.
Seriously.
Exactly. Anyway, back to the story. So they go and see Alex's family, and one thing that's certain straight away is that it's quite a tightly knit family. Marie and Alex go to bed for the night, and Marie promptly pops a tape in her Walkman and gets a little bit horny. Her hands go on a little journey downstairs, let's just say, and this culminates with a Jeepers Creepers type van pulling up the driveway, and at exactly the same
time. It's very Jeepers Creepers, you're right. It is.
Yeah,
totally
exactly the same time as she gets off, the door knocks, and a very bad man is behind the door who's got really bad intentions, and absolute chaos ensues. That's the setup for the movie. So if you haven't seen it, it's that is kind of the setup. That's the very bad man. But yeah, mate, I love this movie. I love this movie. I've seen it countless times. I have to say, it's a film that I revisit quite a lot. It's got quite a lot of bad reviews online. I think it's a IMDb score or something. It's sitting at about 5.2.
How low?
Yeah, it's quite low, mate. Let me see. That Roger Ebert guy, or however you pronounce his surname, give it a 1 star. Bit of background for the movie on my little bit of research. There's a lot of people, and I haven't read this book, tell me very much that the movie itself is very similar to a book called Intensity by Dean Koontz. When the film was at Sundance in 2003, Alexander Aja was questioned about this by an audience member, and he did admit that prior to making the movie, he had read the book Intensity. Dean Koontz said that he wouldn't sue Alexander Aja for this because he didn't want to compare the movie to his book because the film was puerile and intellectually bankrupt. That was very nice of Dean Koontz, wasn't it? Right, but for me though, mate, these are the things that I love about this movie, okay? I think the direction is absolutely spot on.
Agreed.
I think the cinematography is gorgeous. The setup, the camera angles, everything about it feels cinematic. It actually feels like it's got a director at the helm rather than just static camera shots or anything like that. It feels like this is
atmospheric as well, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely, mate, absolutely. I think the pace is fantastic. I think the sound design is absolutely amazing. It's spot on. There are some, gruesome scenes, and you're hearing kind of that are off camera, but you're hearing cutting and slashing in the background. And it's also got this very kind of ambient music score in the background that really kind of adds itself to the content of the movie, which is pretty top notch. I think the violence, the gore, the effects, I think the They're brilliant. You're never once jarred by it and sent out of the movie as a viewer or anything like that. You know, you feel like you're watching.
All the kills are very memorable. Like every single one is like unique.
Absolutely. You know, like very similar to David Kessler's transformation in American Werewolf in London. You know, you feel that it hurts, and everybody who's getting killed in high tension, you feel that it hurts them. And
Vicious,
you know,
vicious.
Aye, exactly. And I've got to say, mate, you know, I love the twist to this movie as well. I love everything about this movie. You're not really going to get a bad word. I mean, I haven't got anything bad or negative to say about this movie, like whatsoever. I love this film. So with that, over to you, mate, to see if you've got anything a little bit more constructive or criticism about it, because I'm a fanboy of this movie, so you're probably asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. I really like this movie, Pete. I like it a lot, and I like it so much that the ending doesn't bother me. If I didn't like it so much, the ending would bother me more, because I find it totally unnecessary. I don't know why they did it. I think it's a bit like irrational, and I think it invites you to look closer at the movie, and I don't think it works, the ending. I think it would have been better if they hadn't put it in there, because it didn't need to be in there. It really did not need to be in there. And it's so satisfying where the guy gets where she's got the bat with the and she's
barbed wire.
And the barbed wire, and she's smacking the crap out of him. I mean, that's so satisfying. They could have like ended it there, and it would have been awesome. Although the scene afterwards is really good, where he's got that chain thing, but they could have put that in beforehand and then had that bit at the end, and it would have been really satisfying. But after all that, and you're so happy that he's dead, he's like, then everything just goes on its head, and then he comes back, and you're like, well, what the hell was the point in all that? Like, and I don't think it makes sense, dude.
Well,
it's a leap of logic, and I don't think it's. It's not like when you watch The Sixth Sense. You watch The Sixth Sense, and you get the twist, and you look back on it, and you see all these clues, and everything like works all the way through, and it's like, I didn't notice that, and it makes it even more like on future watchings. You know, you can see these little bits, and everything adds up. But in this movie, dude, it does not add up. It does not add up.
Well, here's the thing, right? And for me, it's very simple, mate. For me, it's very simple, and the rap. If you look at the storyline and what transpires in the movie, logically, you can, you know, the truck doesn't make sense. There's quite a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense at all. There's a lot of plot holes everywhere. However, and just going to the twist, you said it was unnecessary. Maybe that had something to do with the Dean Koontz book thing, because, like I said, from what I hear, the ending isn't in the book Intensity, but everything else up to it is the book Intensity, like scarily similar. So maybe that's why they did it. But for me, the ending works, mate, and I'll tell you exactly why. That one scene at the very start of the movie, okay, if you go back to it and watch it again, it's basically it's Marie. She's getting asked what happened. So you're getting told the story. You're not seeing actual reality here, or what has actually transpired. You're getting Marie's version of events. And we know the truck can't happen, but guess what? She's off her fucking head. She's off her head. So you've got an unreliable storyteller who's also romanticizing about not being the perpetrator, but being the victim. There's a little flashback right at the start of the movie where she's dreaming in the car. And when she's dreaming in the car, being pursued, and she's the one that runs to the car and bangs on the window for help. And then at the end of the movie, it's actually Alex who does that. And then I think in the car she wakes up and she says, you know, I've just had a weird dream. She says, I was getting chased by someone. Oh, and she said, was it a man? She goes, no, it was myself. So there's hints to it right at the very start. But the thing is, why it all works for me is that your storyteller is somebody who's completely romanticizing about the content, everything. So, you know, I think a couple of things that you can be sure of. I think she killed the family. I think she killed the guy in the gas station, and she probably phoned the police because the police turned up. But everything else, who the fuck knows? It probably didn't even happen. There was no van or anything like that. It probably happened completely differently. But your storyteller's a psychopath who's romanticizing about the events of the movie. And that's, for me, why it works. Hence the title, the UK title.
I think that makes it even worse. The fact that it's all made up, that makes it even worse for me.
Well,
I don't know why you've told me that now.
Oh,
Told me that now. It's like none of it even mattered because it was all just in her head and she just made it all up.
Bad things have happened, but we don't know as the viewer what actually happened. You know, was there a van? You know, did she go, in fact, with Alex to the country house as a guest, or did she actually stalk Alex, follow her to the country house? Because, in the van, who knows? I think the van and the man obviously don't exist.
When she was chasing the dude who had the girl in the back of the van, and she was chasing him in that car. Was she in the car or was she in the van?
Who knows? Who knows, man? Honestly,
it doesn't make sense, dude.
Who knows? She's romanticizing about it. She's building herself up as Alex's savior, as this knight in shining armor, because she's in love with him. She's telling this love story that actually didn't take place at all. There's nothing romantic. There was nothing noble about her cause. But that's the way she's telling the story, because she's off her fucking head and she's an absolute psychopath. So that is the reason why it works for me. The logical loopholes and everything like that. Mm-hmm. She's fantasizing. That's what she's doing. She's reliving it. Yeah. She's fantasizing.
Massive cop out, that dude. But anyway, the movie's so good, man. I seriously, I'll forgive that one aspect of it. I'll forgive it because it's so, everything around it is so good. I really can't. I'll let it pass. Totally let it pass.
Well, it gets a 9 out of 10 for me, mate. I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10.
I think if it didn't have that twist in, I would give it an 8, right. Maybe 8.5. But I will give it a 7 because it did that unnecessary thing. And I totally understand when people say it. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, "Why have they done that?" And then I watched it again. This is only the second time I watched it. I watched it just. I think I watched it with you, didn't I? All them years ago. It was the first time I watched it, and I had the same issues I had the first time I watched it.
It's it's a movie that makes people angry. That's for sure. And you know, like I say, I have been known to kind of.
Yeah, I wouldn't let it spoil the movie for us, but yeah, it's like I said, it's unnecessary, man. I don't know why they did it. It would have been better without it. The stuff you're telling me is so fucking subtle. I mean, it's like
there's lots of little subtle stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little subtle stuff in there. There's the bit where she's on the swing and she's watching Alex naked, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's nobody on the swing. She's upstairs in the attic, and there's dolls when she first come in. You see a camera shot of them later on. The faces are there, but they're smashed, almost kind of hinting that that's her psychosis breaking. At the same time as well, so there's lots of little things there that for me, I like to watch that movie again to see if I can see other little signs and stuff like that as well. For me, it's a multiple viewing movie. I love it. It's a puzzle box. I don't believe that Alexander Aja is that heavy-handed on a movie that he would purposely put plot holes that you could literally drive a truck through into a movie. And think it's okay. I think he's a better director than that. I think he's a more skilled storyteller than that. So that's why I look at these subtle signs.
I think we tried to do something clever and it just didn't work. And now he's trying to cover his ass. That's what I think. But that's just me.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
So yeah, look, So it's a very good movie, man. If anyone hasn't seen that movie, they should watch it. There's definitely plenty of stuff to enjoy in that.
Yeah,
and I'm not a massive fan of slasher movies, but that one was like, it's like I said, it's unique. It's
breezy. It's about 85 minutes long or something like that. It feels longer because of the carnage on the screen, but it really is, you know, a short little horror film, as horror films should be, really. 85, 90 minutes, that kind of thing. You know, you can. There's certainly worse movies that you can lose an hour and a half to.
Yeah, it's a running theme with all these films, like the killer proper kills the shit out of everybody. It's not just like one stab and they're dead. It's like everything's got to be 10 up to 11. And that's a thing on most of these movies we watched this week. I'm a bit desensitized after I watched it. Like after I watched Maniac today, I was like, oh my god. I don't want to go through another week like that.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. I agree. So,
Right.
should we see some comments? Or should we move on?
Right. Oh, I don't think there's many comments. So we'll quickly go through them and then we'll
Okie doke.
look here. Mike says the great kills and high tension. Yeah, that is definitely the one of the biggest selling points of the movie.
Definitely.
Dave says, I've not seen the whole movie High Tension yet, but I do love the director's work typically in other movies. Yeah, he's a talented dude. Dave's Alexander Adger is a decent enough director. Agreed. Cult Fix 24, High Tension is a bloody good time. I haven't seen it in a while yet. And the kid says hello. Hi, mate.
Hey.
Right, let's move on to the next movie, which is, let me just put it up there. It is The Prowler from, was it 1981?
1981. Okay.
And you haven't seen this before, have you, Pete? You haven't seen it before, have you?
This movie before. No, I've never seen this movie before.
I have seen it, but it was a very, very long time ago. Very long time.
Yeah, well, I'd seen the video cover in the video shop, and I'll come back to that in a bit.
Yeah, I like this. It's I think it's a much better cover art than High Tension.
Yeah, agreed.
Very classic, this one.
Agreed. So the Prowler, 1981, also called Rosemary's Killer. Okay, so the storyline goes a little bit like this, man. Now I'm just purely reading my notes here. So this girl dumps a World War II veteran by letter, which was a bit, not the best.
Dear John.
Yeah, Dear John letter, as he's been away at war, fighting for a country and that. He's been at war quite a long time, and she's met someone else. She wants to sow wild oats, and she wants to, she's young. She's young, as she says in there. I'm young. I want to enjoy myself. And he's like in the trenches in fucking in Normandy or wherever, going like that. Going, that fucking bitch.
I won't be.
I thought this was the real deal. Anyway, said World War II veteran, when he gets, when the war's over, I'm assuming not too long afterwards, he goes home and swiftly kills said girlfriend and her new boyfriend as well, who was a douche in the movie. Yeah, with a pitchfork, even though he's got fucking all sorts of weaponry on him. Uses a pitchfork. Okay, fine. And what he does,
I think that's one of the alternate titles of the movie is The Pitchfork Killer.
Yeah, in Germany apparently. Yeah, they cut all the violence out as well. That's weird, and they called it The Pitchfork Killer. Yeah, they did it. Anyway, the female victims, he always places a rose in their hand to, kind of gives it some kind of, I don't know, romantic feel. So anyway, that's pretty much it. But 35 years later, for no reason at all, the World War II fucking veteran just decides, listen, I remember 35 years ago, I had a fucking pretty good time. I'm going to do it again. But this time, instead of killing two, I'm just going to kill every motherfucker I see. And that pretty much what happens. And that's the storyline. That's the setup for it and everything like that. A guy called director Joseph Zito made this movie. And interestingly enough, he must have known Chuck Norris because he made Invasion USA and Missing in Action, and he also made Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter as well, which is kind of one of my more favorite chapters. I'm not sure you like it. Yeah, you like it.
I like the kills. Like this movie, I like the kills in that movie as well. So
fair enough. Well, let me see. Okay. Just a couple of more facts. Tom Savini did the special effects to this movie, and I think that's something that shows. And I think the UK version was originally heavily cut, I believe. So I think the version I watched the other night was uncut because it was in its full glory. So
me too.
What did I like about this movie? I like the gore. I like the death scenes, mate. Especially with the boyfriend of the girl in the shower. And he gets a knife put in his throat, and his eyes go white. That fucking
that's
the sound
nice
effects in that. I was like, oh,
nice touch that was,
That fucking freaked me out, mate. That absolutely freaked me out. And again, it's that
was almost supernatural, that bit, wasn't it? It was full on. That was really good.
Bloody was, mate. I thought the score was quite nice. It was quite effective. It was quite dreamy.
Did you like the fact that all the teenagers looked like they were about 25?
Mate, They were about 25. You know, some of them were in the 30s, I think, in that movie. Like, fuck yeah. Some of them have got bigger beards than me, mate. I was like, going, what? Graduation night? Yeah, right. Let me see. Those are the things I liked about it. What I didn't like about it, mate. Okay.
What, the head explosion? That was amazing, that, man.
Oh.
Really, really good.
The head explosion was bloody awesome. Dare I say it was up there with Scannon's head explosion. It was full on, like, and I didn't expect it. The things that I didn't like about this movie, mate, is I guess the killer literally within the first second of this dude saying, "I'm going fishing. I won't be around for this special night that the entire movie is about. I won't be around." And I'm thinking, well, you're a pretty important character. Why would you not be around?
Yeah.
It must be you. And it was. And I thought the editing was, in cases, it was a product of its time, 1981. So it's not a perfect film right now. But I thought the editing was fucking choppy. Some of the acting was suspect as well. But, you know, it wasn't too jarring. But the thing that pissed me off most, mate, and it was nothing to do with the filmmakers, I'm going to blame fucking the video shop in Newton Aycliffe for this one, mate. Oh, no, I'm going to blame the marketing people. On the back of the video box, basically, is the twist ending. There's a scare at the end of this movie, like a Friday the 13th. Jason pops out of the lake. There's a scare in the end of this movie that you shouldn't see coming, but it's on the back of the fucking VHS box that I could remember seeing the guy like that go, and I was like, I know what's going to happen. So that fucking that killed that for me, mate. Generally, I had a good time with the Prowler. Yeah, it was. It's a product of its time. It wasn't a perfect movie. The storyline was a bit bizarre. A lot of it didn't work for me.
I didn't even realize there's a mystery. I didn't even realize there's a mystery. I mean, surely it was just the guy. It was the guy that was at the war. The vet that came from war. I didn't know it was. We didn't know who it was until the end.
Where, Well, they tried to chuck a red herring with. They tried to chuck a red herring with the old cripple guy. She goes into his kind of dressing room and finds all these love letters and a rose, and you think, oh, it's him, and I'm thinking it can't be fucking him because he's crippled. No, he's crippled, man. You know what I mean? We've just seen the killer and he's running around. You know, that's definitely not him. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, mate, but it's a solid 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was just it's a run of the mill stalk and slash movie. It's done well. It's atmospheric. It's got the kills are definitely the highlight in the movie. The Prowler looks cool, man. In that gear he wears, I think that's a very, very good looking outfit. That I like the POV shots of the killer. I mean, it's standard stuff, but it was all done really, really, really well. I didn't think there was that much suspense in the movie, to be honest. I like me slashes with a bit of suspense in it, and there was no real suspense. The guy just pops up and kills them, and then moves on to the next thing. That's it. It's a good movie.
Would you watch it again?
There are a dime a dozen these slashes, isn't he? And that's just one that was done better than most. But it's nothing like nothing that really makes it stand out apart from the kills. I mean, you could watch just the kills, and then you don't really need to watch the movie, I don't think.
True. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was no Black Christmas. I mean,
that's a scary movie. Black Christmas it is like a scary movie, and this one is not scary at all. No. Actually, none of these movies I saw this week, I didn't think any of them were at all scary. They were horrifying and stuff, but they weren't scary. And,
right,
I like a bit of fear and a bit of a thrill when I watch the movies, but I did like the kills. I liked them a lot.
Fair play.
But yeah,
well, out of 10, mate, what are you giving that one?
I'll join you, mate. I'll give it a 6.5 because the kills are really outstanding. They've done really, really well, man. There was I don't know, that had a little bit of flair to them, like when he sliced that woman's neck, and he's there like backwards and forwards, and it's like right inside the neck, and you can see it. Normally they would just do it and it would bleed, and she'd go, oh, but he was he's doing this inside the neck. like a few
I
spaces.
think when you got Tom Savini, you get a little bit extra, mate. And Tom Savini, you know, he says himself, he went to Vietnam and he's seen real dead bodies, so that's what he puts on screen. He puts things that he's seen before on screen. He'll look at a gag on screen and go, no, that's not right. Real people don't die like that. A throat isn't cut like that, because half the time he's seen him when he was a medic in Nam.
Yeah,
so
it was definitely looks more authentic, but it was like nicely over the top, where you don't you're not grossed out by it, but there was like plenty of blood coming out everywhere, and man, I appreciated that.
I think I read it on an interesting fact that the focus when they were making the movie, part of the focus was the kills. I think I can't remember how long the shoot. It was quite a relatively short shoot for the movie, but the kills took most of the time. What they would do is they would have a full day to do one special effects gag, and they concentrated. So everything else, you know, story and everything like that was secondary to the kills. So and you know, that's what we took from that movie as well. So that was the case.
Yeah, but yeah, decent. Not a patch on high tension, but yeah, it's decent.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the third movie? Let's have a look. Give me 2 seconds.
No problem.
Next one is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. I've got to say, Pete, this is my favorite movie of all the movies we've watched this week.
Oh, okay.
I like this one the most. I like it because I thought it was like a thrilling movie. It's like it's one of the ones where you're squirming in your seat. As he's stalking around and that, he was like, "No, get away! I don't like the people." Just like, I don't know. It's like all the other ones, they just kind of pop out and kill people. But this one, there was a lot of like the stalking was suspenseful in this one. So I had a lot better time with this movie. And it's got no. I noticed it didn't have any sex or nudity in this movie as well, which I also like. Even though the main girl was hot, but there's no sex and nudity in this. It's quite surprising actually. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
Okay. So I mean, we'll start up then. Texas Chainsaw 2003.
Actually, can you just pause for 2 seconds? Let me just see if there's any comments about the Prowler, because
no problem.
I've just talked about it. Right, Davey says, for the first time I started watching the Prowler a few months ago for free online, and I just didn't like it after an hour. I just shut it off, and I haven't gone back yet. I didn't hate it. It's just boring. I mean, if it wasn't punctuated with those kills, and you know there was going to be some more kills going through it, without those kills, it would be a boring movie.
And remember, Dave, we had to watch it. we had no choice. We could not turn it off.
Yeah. Mike says the Prowler is vastly overrated. And Gareth says the Prowler, you mean Rosemary's Killer? Yeah, totally.
Yes.
And Mike says most of the Prowler is just a girl following her boyfriend around. This is true.
She's a bit of a scary girlfriend to her as well. Like in this movie, she's following him around. She just does nothing but chastising him. Maybe she called the sheriff. And I was like, oh, that's gotta hurt, man. You know what I mean? The sheriff's entrusted him, look after him. You just had to give him that dig. You know, why'd you have to do that? And now you're following him about. You won't get out the car. She's a nightmare. Anyway, sorry, she's a nightmare.
Cult Flicks Vix 24. I was rooting for the killer to get the annoying girl in the swimming pool scene. She proper gets it in the swimming pool.
She does.
Dave says it didn't make sense to me that in the movie, the original Black Christmas, the cops didn't go up into the attic at all after a murder has happened. Nonetheless, it didn't make sense. Yeah,
fair enough. That's a fair enough.
Logic is not one of the main things you'll find in a slasher movie. Dutch Film Buff. You alright, buddy? Prowler isn't overrated. Big 3, Halloween, Friday, Elm Street are. Oh, contentious.
Nice. Controversial. I'm pleased Dutch is here because we're going to get onto his suggestion shortly.
Best suggestion of the whole week, I've got to say.
Yeah, I've got to say thank you, Dutch.
Otherwise, I would never have watched Dream Home. I would never have watched it. I hadn't even heard of it. But yeah, man. Hey, dude. Gareth, hi, Dutch. Yes. Rabbi's main girl was hot. Sorry, Rabbi. I was Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, I'll get onto that in a minute.
I'm just speaking facts. Objectively, she was. I couldn't. She just was.
Yes.
Dave, I mostly like Texas Chainsaw 2003. I still have it on DVD as well. I just didn't like the part of the ending. I found it a little too arty at times, but otherwise kind of good. Yeah, so let's talk about it, and then we'll go back to the comments.
Okie doke. Okay.
Go ahead, Pete.
This is directed by a German guy called Marcus Nispel. He made the Friday the 13th remake, which was a piece of shit. Yeah.
It's not a piece of shit, man. It's not that bad.
It's a piece of shit, man. Okay. We'll talk about that another time. But he also made the Conan remake, which, guess what? Was a piece of shit, right? But
it was watchable, man.
I looked at this guy's filmography, and he did a shitload of music videos, which I think is it shows on screen like he's a fucking music video director. But anyway, he made CNC Music Factory is Gonna Make You Sweat, Marcy.
Oh, did he?
Made that video? Yeah, so we like him for that. We like him for that for sure. Right, okay. So the story is about a group of, I would say, early 20s who have been to Mexico to secretly score some pot without their girlfriend's knowledge, drive back over the border, and they're on the way to a concert. I can't remember, was it a Wings concert or something like that? It's a concert that they're on the way to.
I think it was
they're driving through
Skinner or something.
That's
Lynyrd
right.
Skynyrd or something like that.
They're driving through Texas, and they nearly run over this girl who looks quite bedraggled, and the girls feel sorry for her, and they say, "Come in the van, we'll look after you." You know, what's the? She's not really making much sense, but you as the viewer, and also knowing the fact that the movie's called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know she's probably a victim of some sort. She then ensues to pull a gun out of her crotch and shoot herself in the head with it, and there's a rather kind of stylish camera move that goes
fantastic.
Through her head.
It's a fantastic man.
It's full on Sam Raimi stuff that goes through the head. Brilliant. And her brains are all absolutely. Her brains are all over the place, and then chaos ensues. Essentially, these 20-somethings they need to find the police. They're looking for somebody to help them, but they also
a telephone as well. Yeah.
A telephone, and they meet the usual tropes. They were made famous by the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They meet them, the strange country folk, and all them guys, and they inadvertently bump into Leatherface and his family, and horror ensues.
They changed the name, didn't they? They've changed the name from Sawyer to Hewitt. I'm not quite sure why they did that.
No idea.
Because the original Chainsaw family is called the Sawyer family, isn't they? But then they changed it to Hewitt. Yeah,
they did. They did make a couple of facts. It got 0 stars from Roger Ebert again. He just definitely doesn't like horror movies. That guy, like. It made 107 million off a 9 million budget, which is commendable. That's fair enough, but probably because it had good marketing and it had Michael Bay behind it, I would say. I certainly went to the cinema to see it on its opening weekend because it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and at that point, horror remakes weren't as common as they are now. There was something kind of fresh, and I'd just seen the Dawn of the Dead remake beforehand. Was that beforehand or afterwards?
That's afterwards.
Was it afterwards? Okay, well, then scratch that. But anyway, I went to see it at the cinema, and at the time, I kind of had a good time with it. So what I liked about this movie is R. Lee Emery. He absolutely steals the whole movie. He's that good in it.
He's a bastard in the movie, man. He's such a bastard.
He's a bastard. He's a bastard, and some of this crack with that dead body in that man, it's just like, you are a bastard. I was screaming at the characters going, fucking skull fuck that guy right now, because he's going to skull fuck you. You're young, knock him. But they didn't to their peril. Anyway, what else do I like about this? It's quite well shot.
It's very polished movie.
Yeah, it's quite slick, and I thought also the performances, I'm going to say, were okay. Even Jessica Biel, she wasn't the fully fledged actress that she is today. She's a very good actress today, but even back then, I saw some of her screaming in that movie. Wasn't the bit where the camera goes through her head. She's kind of there going, It's just not very convincing.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, you don't know it's because you're watching the cool Carnage video camera thing. But if you look at Jessica Biel and that, you're like, what you doing? Anyway. And my favorite part of the movie, without a shadow of a doubt, was Jessica Biel's body and that midriff. Man, I was watching that midriff all the way through that movie. And when when that cheeky chappy Leatherface sets off the sprinklers, I'm like, that going, well done, Leatherface. Thank you. And I'm like, my t-shirt, this is awesome. This movie just got better. Yeah. So there was no tension in these scenes for me, Vassy. It was all about the sprinkler system.
Really?
You know, it was all about the sprinkler system. What I didn't like about this movie, I'm not as much of a fan of this movie, I think, as you are. For me, it drags a bit. Let me see. And I don't like that. What's the deal with that kid with the joke shop teeth? What's up with that? Why is he even in there? And he's like, hey, come with me. I like her. Don't kill her. And I'm like, the movie doesn't need that. Anyway, I didn't like the joke shop teeth kid. Let me see.
They wouldn't have escaped if it wasn't the kid. They wouldn't have escaped from the cellar.
Didn't work for me, Fast. Didn't work for me, that.
Okay.
I thought it was gory in some parts. Here's the thing: what confused me about the movie, mate, is we're going to make a Texas Chainsaw movie, but unlike the first movie, which shows you relatively little, we're going to show you gore in this movie. This movie's actually going to be gory, and you go, okay, show me some gore, and you get a cut off leg here and there, and you get hook and stuff like that, and it does show you gore. But for me, it pussied out of the actual chainsaw assaults and stuff. There's far too much chainsaw killing off camera for me, and I'm thinking, hang fire. Did I go? Am I watching a movie? Am I watching Gonna Kill You Off Camera with a Chainsaw Massacre? No, I'm watching the Chainsaw Massacre. I want to see that shit. Apparently it's gory, but show me the gore. Show me it. And it pussied out with that. So let me see. Do you know what, mate? It left me a little bit flat. I'm not a fan of this movie, mate. I'm going to give it 5 out of 10 for me. And I don't know you like it a lot more. I'm going to give it 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 for me.
That's harsh. That is, Pete. That's harsh.
Sorry.
I thought the movies. It was definitely gruesome enough for me, and it was tense, and it was thrilling. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I really enjoyed it. And I liked all the actors in it. I didn't like to see them going through all the torture they went through, and they went through some stuff, man. Like when that dude was on the hook,
he gets it tight.
Hard
to be fair. He gets it tight.
He really does.
He does.
But no, I like it. I liked it very much. And,
I kept laughing at the other guy with the glasses who just keeps getting bitch slapped by Ali Emery and everything like that. He the guy's a weakling, and then he finds a bit of nerve right at the end to Leatherface himself, and he's got no weapon with a chainsaw. Yeah. Leatherface has got a chainsaw, and I'm thinking, if you'd only shown that backbone at the very beginning of the movie, no one would be in this situation. Yeah. But then again,
he was almost crying. He was almost crying when the Ali Emery was like dragging him out and that, asking to put show me how she died and all this business.
Yeah, no, to be fair, but again, like I say, Ali Emery stole the show for me. That scene was tricky, tough to watch. The scene in the back of the car where he's putting the gun in his mouth, it was tough to watch. I get what you're saying about there was tension, blah 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 blah. I
thought he was going to blow his head off. I mean, like I said, it's another movie I'd only seen once before when it first came out, and I hadn't seen it since. And right. I think it's the only one that I'm rewatching that I enjoyed more, like a lot more than I had the first time around.
Okay,
yeah, man.
Perfect. So
this is
what are you going to give that out of 10, my man?
I'll give it a 7. A 7. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. People love this movie. I think I'm in the minority, right enough.
Yeah. Because I think it's more enjoyable than the first one. The first one's very grueling to watch. The first one's a better movie, like it's more of a classic movie. But I find this one a better watch than
I think aesthetically, I missed the grittiness of the original. When they're all in that house, when Sally Hardesty When Sally is getting tortured in the house and she's at that dinner table, you can feel the heat and the smell in there, and those
scenes are relentless in the original. They just go on for so long.
Yeah,
she spends half the movie just screaming her head off.
Yeah, absolutely. I always remember that shot of her eye, and you can see the wee red veins just popping and pulsing as she's screaming, and it's going all over the place. Can't remember the name of the artist, but someone painted that very picture, and it's a beautiful paint. If I could get hold of that poster, that would be amazing. But it's a Mondo poster because it would cost a fortune. But no, I miss the grittiness and the grindhouse aspect of the original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if it's not better than the original, I think it's definitely the second best of all the Texas Chainsaws.
I would agree with that.
In my opinion.
Yeah, listen, I would agree with that. All right, absolutely. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Anybody mentioned anything about Texas Chainsaw? How far do we get? No, that's it. We can go straight on to the next one, Pete, which was, let me just get it up here. This was the one. This was the biggest surprise of all the movies, and it was Dream Home from 2010.
Absolutely. So, Dream Home from 2010 is directed by a chap called Pang Ho Chung, and Josie Ho plays Sheng Lue Shuang, who essentially, since a child. And I won't go into the reasons why. I don't want to spoil this movie because I do want anybody who hasn't seen it to go and see it. But ever since a child, she has wanted to have an apartment with a particular view of the harbour, actually, for her granddad, for her dad, for herself, and everything like that. And she has always pursued this all the way through. She puts an offer in on the property, and she essentially gets gazumped. The owners of this particular flat with this harbour view, this dream property, this dream home, decide that the market's going up, so therefore they're going to pretty much double the price, or the price is going to go quite a lot.
Last second, is it? The very last second.
Right at the last second, and she has gone through quite considerable sacrifice at this point to get.
Been saving up her whole life basically to get this, to afford to get this. This flat.
100%. And what basically happens is she gets mad, and she decides to unleash revenge on the residents of the property, her dream home, neighbours, and pretty much anybody who comes into her path. But is it revenge, or is it a very calculated plan? That's all.
I think it's a calculated plan.
Right. I fucking love this film. By the way, I made the mistake of my daughter being in the room when it was on. I didn't realize how violent and how perverted it was actually going to get. I mean, this scene, this movie is supremely violent. There are things in this movie that I didn't think I would see, and also things that I didn't think. Absolutely. Yeah. Right, so what did I like about this movie? So first of all, I put here direction. I thought the film was expertly directed. It really didn't put a foot wrong. I enjoyed watching it, the aesthetics of it. You know what I loved the cinematography. I loved that title sequence, mate. Every shot
I was watching that. It's really nice, yeah.
Every shot in the title sequence looks like a fucking Dali painting. It's that well planned out. There's little hints of Inception and Nolan and stuff like that going on in there as well. It's beautiful. And this movie is beautiful to look at as well. So it ticks those boxes. You feel like you're in the hands of a very accomplished director. So I certainly like that. Let me see. Performances. I don't think there's any cast member that puts a foot wrong in this film. They're all completely believable, and once more, they're not only just believable; they're putting their all into the part, and it shows on screen. And again, is that the director? Is that the actors? Who knows? But I like it as the viewer. Thank you, as that consumer, chomping away on this movie. Loved it. You see, violence. I love the violence in this movie. It was extremely unsettling.
I was squirming the whole way through.
Oh man, it's nasty, and you know what? It's unhidden. there's no forget. Everything is in bright light. You can
Yeah.
see absolutely everything, and everything's everything's a set piece, and it's expertly choreographed. I think in the credits, I even saw a choreography credit, and I can only assume that's the violence and stuff like that that is used in the movie. I thought the use of very subtle CG, along with the practical effects, was absolutely spot on. Worked perfectly just for that added little gore aspect. I thought it was spot on. I've got down here, I like the movie's social commentary. I mean, this movie's about the market and in Hong Kong at the time, and the government pricing their own people out of the marketplaces, moving people up so they can put up condos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Basically, if you try and make Dream Home today with the current regime, that movie's not getting made. It's not getting made. So I'm amazed that this movie is out there, and I love that social commentary that it was putting out there. There should be more of that shit. Let me see. What I didn't like about the movie, and this is more of a personal preference type of thing, the only little gripe that I didn't have about the movie is the pregnant woman. I thought the death scene
bad, man.
just fucked me up. That, there's all sorts of fluids going on screen. There's all sorts of crushing and munching, and her death is really prolonged, and nobody likes to see a pregnant woman getting killed, especially the way this pregnant woman goes in this movie. That was my only thing that I thought to myself at that point. This is, that's maybe a little bit too much. But don't get me wrong, there are other scenes in this movie that are equally as perverse. And when you think as a viewer, it won't go there. It goes there. Yeah. It goes there and stays there, and it puts the lights on.
The edge. Yeah, it totally takes it to the edge. Absolutely, and then just goes over, man.
100%. I loved it. It stayed with me for days after I watched it. I'm still thinking about it now. It's a solid 8 out of 10 for me, and maybe next time I watch it, it'll go up to a 9. I loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
I'm gonna say I really was amazed by the movie, and I'm never gonna watch it again. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm not gonna watch it again, man, Pete. I'm not. I was squirming the whole time watching this movie, man. It was just so much, and she kills more people in this movie than I think all the movies we've reviewed so far. She kills more people in this movie than all those movies like put together. The first 3-4 movies we've talked about. Yeah, she's just relentless, man. And the weird thing is, am I remembering this wrong? Did it say it was a true story at the beginning?
Based on a true story, yeah. So someone will have done that to bring property value down.
I don't understand, because she doesn't get caught at the end. So how did they know it's a true story? Because she totally gets away with it.
I haven't read up on the true story, but I'm assuming that person was caught, and I'm assuming that their motivation for causing, whatever they caused or doing whatever they did, was bring property value down so they could afford to buy a property.
I was disturbed by the pre-credit kill, the very first kill with the security guard. I found that pretty disturbing. Yeah. And that was like the least worst kill in the whole film. All the rest are even worse.
Sets the tone for the movie. And that the poor girl who gets the plank of wood in her mouth. Poor girl. It just never ends for her.
Yeah. Even the cleaner, when the cleaner gets killed, I'm like, what are you killing the cleaner for? She's just a cleaner there. What are you doing that for? And she just kills everybody. Just if you're there, you're dead, man. She was like,
if you've seen her, no witnesses, you're dead, and that's how relentless she is in this movie. And it's a stunning slasher film. It's elevated by its production, its director, everything that's involved, but also it does not forget its horror roots. And it gives you what you want, and then some, If you're squeamish and you're adverse to,
the bloodbath from start, and I've never seen anything like it. I'll be honest with you, Pete. It was a bloodbath from beginning to end, and it's so well made. It's like it's just crazy good. But like I said, I'm not going to watch it again. And I don't like, if you got caught at the end, I might change my mind. But she's like, she shows no remorse for anything she's done. No. And she doesn't even feel bad about it. Like there's no regret or nothing. at the end, she's like,
did you not think the tone of the movie was very much? It had its tongue firmly placed in its cheek, so there wasn't the requirement there for me for redemption or for it to be caught or anything like that. But for me, I thought that the tongue was in the cheek a little bit because it's kind of
kills us over the top.
It's itchy the killer.
It kills us over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. It's itchy the killer stuff.
What was your favorite kill in the movie? What was your favorite kill?
Favorite kill in the movie, mate. Let me see. Favorite kill in the movie. Do you know? I did like that guy who gets gutted. And I like the fact that he wakes up after being gutted and tries to smoke a joint. But my favorite
doesn't lie. That was one funny scene in the movie.
Exactly.
It doesn't lie.
If favorite killer, it's again, it's favorite kill, because they're all really, really nasty and they're all really, really good as well. Listen, I like them all, bar the pregnant lady one. That was too much for me.
I didn't like the dick one. I didn't like that one either, mate. I've got to say.
I forgot about that.
I wasn't a fan of
it. Yeah. And she flicks
and it's
blood
oozing out at the end. And he throws it on the bed and it's oozing out. And I'm like, dude, just stop. Just stop right there.
She's stabbing him. Oh, yeah. He's making love. I'm going to call it making love. And she's stabbing him.
Yeah.
And the girl thinks that she's still getting made love to. And that was pretty fucked up, like, to be fair.
Messed up, yeah, it was.
It's a messed up film. It's a messed up film. But,
if you like gory films, people, if you like gory films, this is one that was like, it will not, it doesn't let you down. If that's what you like, if that's what you want to see, this one gives it to you in buckets.
Yes, definitely does.
I couldn't believe when I watched it. It was a really, really good shout from Dutch film buff.
100%.
A lot more people should be watching this movie. Like, it should be talked about much more because, like I said, I'd never even heard of it. I don't know how it got under the radar, but I can't imagine anyone who watched this movie would be like watch it and go, oh, okay. It was like it leaves an effect on you, man.
It's one of those films that's probably never
whether you like it or not
streaming service or anything like that, and that's probably why it's flown under the radar quite a bit in this country. But thanks Dutch for that, like, because that was spot on. So I give this 8 out of 10. Vass, what's your score?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10 as well. But like I said, I'm not going to watch it again. I'm just not going to do it because honestly, I got very little enjoyment from watching it. It was it was a hard watch. It really was. But I mean, I'm glad I did watch it, and it's commendable the amount of stuff that they got in that movie. But it's not my cup of tea. It's not really what I want to watch horror movie. Like what I want from a horror movie. There was no thrills in there. There was no suspense in there. There was no scares in there, and that's really all I'm after in a horror film.
That's what you're in it for. No problem.
Yeah, but yeah, it was totally cool. Let's get the comments. I think there is a few comments.
Okay.
Dutch Film Buff says the director is a girl, Pete. That name there that you give, it's a girl.
I'm so sorry. She is a great director.
Isn't that weird? It's the director's a woman and she did that kill with a pregnant lady.
Yeah, I mean that's a surprise. I mean that blows me away that it's a female who directed that.
It's so inventive, the kills. It was so inventive. Like when they put that vacuum bag on her head and then put the vacuum on and sucked all the air out. I mean, I was like, how did it come up with that? How the hell did it come up with that? I don't know.
Well, I stand corrected. It's a girl. My apologies.
Yeah. Dutch Film Buff, the producer, I mean, and main actress. Oh, okay. It's the producer that's a woman, and that main actress is they could have got a prettier woman to be the main lead. I would have thought, because they normally have very pretty girls in these Japanese, Chinese movies.
Do you know what I was? Oh, thank you.
Dutch Film Buff, I'm glad you liked it so much. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate having watched it. But like I said, it's not my cup of tea. Dutch Film Buff, I like the social commentary, the gore, and the fact that you already know the identity of the killer from early on in the movie. Not many. Yeah, there was no mystery aspect. This was there.
No.
Not many slashes to do it like that.
100%. It was bold.
Nice. Yeah, that was a proper good shout, that man. Yeah. If anybody, next time someone asks for like a really good gory movie, I'm going to definitely recommend that. Like one that's full on, pulls no punches. I will.
Anyway, if anybody likes, the works of Takashi Miike or anything like that, you'll fucking love this movie.
Yeah. A movie without limits.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, now Dutch Film Buff says it's not a woman, guys. Okay.
Oh.
Well, whoever that directed
Who directed?
Right, so that was Dream Home, and that was the biggest surprise of all the movies we watched. I think you'll agree, Pete.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of this poster. They could have done something better than that. Like, I mean, it's nice to look at, but it doesn't really represent the movie. It's fine. It just doesn't really represent. It doesn't really sell the movie, in my opinion.
It doesn't. It sells something else. But this is a poster here, the Slayer.
Nice poster. The best thing about the movie is this poster for the Slayer.
Right.
I remember seeing. I think I have seen this movie before. I think it was on the Vipco. It was on the Vipco label.
Right.
And and I totally forgotten I'd seen the movie. And then I watched the movie again, and then I realized why I forgot that I'd seen the movie. But we'll get on to that now.
Let's get on to this now, mate. Right. Okay. This one is directed by, if you could call it that, by a chap called J.S. Cardone, whose career highlights are 8mm 2. All right? Enough said. 8mm 2. Right. So, The Slayer, 1982. Now, think of 1982. What happened in 1982? We were getting movies like E.T., The Thing, all these quality movies. Poltergeist. 82 was a great year. And then we got The Slayer. So The Slayer was quite difficult for yours truly here to track down. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I ended up renting it off YouTube. Cost me £2.49. £2.49. And by the end of this movie, I was lamenting that £2.49 and what I could have done with it. Okay, let's have a look here. A fact about this film, mate, is the production company, just after the movie was made, went bankrupt, right? Funny that.
Okay.
Could it have had something to do with the Slayer part? I don't know. Anyway, what I liked about this movie, okay? This should take...
I've got no notes on this movie at all. I've got no notes at all.
I'll have to do the story setup.
I've literally written The Slayer, and that's... I didn't do anything when I was like... go on.
Well, let me tell you what this movie's about. So it's about this really angry woman who keeps having dreams. She's unrelentingly awful to her husband, by the way, in this movie. She's just a pain in the ass. Anyway, she keeps having dreams, and the dreams are a little bit trippy, and then they go to an island for a vacation. When I say they, her husband, her brother-in-law, or something like that, or two couples that know each other anyway, they go to this place, they fly on this little jet, they get there, and the weird thing was, man, right, they get in this fucking island, right, it's blowing a gale, it looks like shit, right, and they're like, because they're acting, they're going, oh, it's beautiful, and I'm like, no, it's not. It looks like Stephen Carew on a fucking winter's day. What are you talking about, man? It looks dreadful. And then they go to this fucking house, right? That looks like it looks like a fucking abandoned house, in an old council estate or something in the middle of this beach. But they go in and it's quite nice. And then she keeps having dreams, and folk start dying. And honestly, that's the story. I can't actually fathom what the fuck this film is about, like, at all. It's like the director just gave up halfway through and went, this shit isn't making any fucking sense. Roll credits, right? It's an absurd film. Anyway, what I liked about this movie, I put the kills were all okay, unintentional humor, because I laughed quite a lot of it because it was so shit.
Really boring.
Slog this movie. I kept pausing it, going, "This is fucking terrible. This is fucking terrible." And I'd go and get a drink, and I'd come back and put it on. I think it's running time.
Not even a long movie. It's not even a long movie, is it? But it felt really, really long. It was like everything.
It is boring. This film, like, it is so boring. This film, right? So what I didn't like, and you can see my bad language on my notes and that, right? I wrote, didn't like, no fucking idea what it was about, right? And I put boring, right? And then I put the the ending. What the fuck does the ending all mean?
Yeah.
The fucking monster comes out of nowhere and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, I at least thought it was the wife killing them or something like that. And I thought, oh, it's going to be a twist ending. It's going to be her all along. No, there's a monster. There's just a monster.
Yeah. It just shows up, doesn't it? I think she conjured it up in her head when she was a kid or something, and then it just came together or something. I don't know.
Let's not read too deeply in that. If that's what happened, it certainly wasn't explained in the fucking movie that's what happened. And I put it was like the director just gave up and wanted to be sacked. My notes were, I want my £2.49 back, and to add insult to injury, right? After I finished the movie, I came off, exited out of YouTube, and there was like, trailer for the movie, and I was like, well, let's check out the trailer. The trailer was on for 1 minute and 11 seconds, right? And I would suggest watching the trailer because everything that's actually good in the film, the kills and the monster reveal, it's all in that 1 minute fucking trailer, like all there. So yeah, this movie sucked dick for me. Like it was a bag of bollocks. I hated it. I give it 2 out of 10, but even that's charitable, man. I might even rip that back to 1. But I hated this. Whoever suggested this, right?
Who was it?
That's got to be the biggest stick up. It was a dreadful fucking film. I'm not even going to compliment it by calling it a film because it was incoherent. Incoherent. That's what I thought. What did you think, man? What did you make of this play?
No, it was terrible, man. It was really, really bad. It was so slow. The kills were so. It was like the first half an hour, absolutely nothing happened in the movie at all. It was just her having dreams and recognizing things. Oh, I dream about that. I had a dream about this. Oh, I drew a picture of that, and it's like absolutely nothing happened. Everything takes ages. It literally is her left on the island. And she decides to like batten down the house she's in, and that scene goes on for about 10 minutes. Just her closing all the windows and barricading the doors. I'm like, bloody hell!
It was like that fucking. It was like that BBC Electron video game of The Evil Dead, where all you do is close the fucking doors and you just go around level after level doing it. That's
really, man. Yeah, man.
And what was up with that fucking sex scene, man? For some reason, they put a sex scene in the middle of there, but it's not really a sex scene. The husband, all he does is just kiss a nightie about there. It's not even a boob thing. It's a midriff and that. It's like a side rib, and he's just gone.
It's in the erogenous zone.
You're like, what is that? Dreadful. I did like that his head got caught in the door. I thought that scene was quite good.
Yeah, what was that all about, man? And then slowly it kind of rises. It's something pulls it out, and it takes about 10 minutes for his body just to go, and then the doors close, and then that's it. I'm like,
it was all illogical. It didn't make any sense, mate. I actually felt that somebody had, slipped me a Mickey or something like that, and and it wore off when the film had finished. It was that incoherent, mate. And to be fair, that's where Hellraiser kind of saved me, because I watched it straight afterwards, and I was like, okay, you're in storyline. Thank you, actors that are actually acting. Oh, brilliant. So fuck that. Fuck the Slayer. Fuck that movie. And fuck whoever recommended that fucking film. Fuck you. You did that shit on purpose.
I wonder what rating has that movie got on IMDb? The Slayer. Let me just check. If it hasn't got like a 2 or a 3, something's definitely up.
86 minutes. £2.49.
I've never ever rented a movie from YouTube my whole life, Pete, and that's the one you rented. Did you do that often? Rent movies on YouTube?
That's the first time I've ever rented from YouTube. Right? So if I die tomorrow, right? And someone goes, like a historian, or someone goes, let's look into what Peter's lifestyle. What was he into? Let's look at his YouTube rentals. The Slayer.
Can you guess what the IMDb rating is on the Slayer? Have a guess.
2.
What would you think it would be?
2.
5.2. 5.2, dude.
That's what Hot Tension
People
is.
like that movie.
That's what High Tension is. 5.2. I shit you not.
5.2. Wow, incredible! Absolutely incredible.
That's nuts. Aye. Friday night.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Nobody should watch that movie. If you're thinking about watching it, skip it, man. Save yourself an hour and a half. That's going to feel like 3 hours.
Definitely.
Right, yeah. So that was bullshit. That movie's bullshit, and let's move on. Is there any comments? Let's have a look. Okay, Dutch Film Buff says, I can relate to Vass. I had the same with the original Martyrs. Oh, me too, man. Don't like that movie. Good film, but can't watch it again.
Fair enough, I get that.
Yeah. Dave says, I'm 52 nowadays. Does he not say that on every stream? He's 52. And I got to see a movie called Dragon Slayer back in the 80s, and that was pretty decent and kind of fun, especially for the time. Dragon Slayer.
Okay.
That sounds familiar. That movie,
I've heard of Dragon Slayer. I don't know why, but I've heard of it.
Dave, the only thing I didn't like much about the Dragon Slayer the movie was its lead. I'm not a big Peter McNichol fan. Yeah, I watched a movie I've not seen for ages a while ago called The Sword and the Sorcerer. You ever seen that movie, Pete?
I own The Sword and the Sorcerer, man.
It's a decent film, that man. It's a fun film. It's a fun movie. I've not seen it in years.
Do you know my favorite bit in that is where one of the slaves, the guy with the big long kind of afro hair, and the bald guy who looks like the dude from Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's torturing some fuck, and he sticks his head out of this prison cell and goes, "What's on your mind, potato head?" And I'm thinking, that's how they talk to the fucking Middle Ages, man. That's how they talk to the Middle Ages. But yeah, great film.
Yeah, it's got a pretty sense of humor in that movie, isn't it? Like,
it's gory as well, like gory.
It is, yeah. It's not bad at all in that department.
The hats and all that.
Dutch Film Buff. I think the monster in the Slayer was an allegory for the female protagonist having her period. Maybe they didn't explain that very well. Dutch Film Buff. Dragon Slayer is cool. Featured the best practical dragon ever. You don't see many practical dragons these days, do you, Pete?
You just don't.
No, you don't. Not enough.
Not enough.
Right, let's move on to movie number 6, which is X. And there's X for you guys.
Okay. So this is obviously a recent movie, so I'll be quick with this because I'm pretty sure that everyone's either seen it or knows what it's about anyway. So this is directed from Ty West, who did House of the Devil and The Sacrament, 2 films that I really like. So I was kind of.
I haven't seen The Sacrament. I need to watch that movie. I've not seen it.
It's great, mate. If you know, it's great. It's a total exploitation flick because it's you know, crudely based on a true story, and it is very crudely based on a true story. But it's a tough watch. It's great. It's a great film. Okay. So the movie's about.
Is it a horror film? It's actually a horror film.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's a massacre. I think like 300 people die in this movie. Absolutely. I mean,
that doesn't necessarily mean a horror film.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it plays like a horror movie. It's a found footage film, and I think that's my only criticism of the film is it struggles to keep that found footage narrative. There's quite a lot of the movie we're thinking, well, who's holding that camera, etc., etc. So it jumps between an actual movie and found footage. But it's based on the Jonestown Massacre, and it pretty much, you know, for the most part, stays true to all the main events that happen in real life of the Jonestown. And the real story of the Jonestown Massacre is a fucking horror film, you know. It is a fucking horror film. It's worth a watch. It's a tough watch. And when things start to go bad, things go really bad. The guy, I can't remember his name, the actor who plays the priest in this movie, the father, he's stunning in this film. Like, he's so unlikable in this film. You know, he's so nasty and evil, but he really exudes this horrible person, which you know that nothing's going to come from. Good is going to come from him. So he's worth, you know, he's worth watching the movie alone for. But I really like the movie. You should totally check it out. It's 85 minutes that flies by. Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
but it stays with you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for the recommendation.
Okay. X. So X is about a young group of people that want to make it essentially a porn movie. So you've got 2 actresses, you've got a boyfriend, you've got a male actor, and you've got essentially a director, cameraman, and his girlfriend, who's the boom mic operator. And these guys are essentially all in a van, and they're going to this farmhouse that they've rented to make this porn movie. I think it's called The Farmer's Daughter that they're going to make. And they get there, and their new landlord for the weekend, like an Airbnb type situation, but before there was Airbnbs, is this old man who's very cantankerous. His first action is to pull a gun on one of our main protagonists.
It's set in the 70s. Is it set in the 70s, isn't it?
70s, I believe. Yeah, 70s. And to be honest, it's very authentic. It looks like it's it's a period of its time and everything like that. So they go and make this porn movie, and they do not realize that the married old couple in the main farmhouse, whose land that they're actually utilizing, are a little bit demented, a little bit sex obsessed, and homicidal. And when they find out what's going on in their barn, they don't take to it too kindly, and that's the setup for this movie. Okay, what I liked about this movie. So I've put down, first thing I put, I like Mia Goth. There's something about her, I can't put my finger on it. There's something different about her. She's got a good screen presence. Her face, the way she acts, and stuff like that. I liked her in this movie. The look of the movie is also very excellent. It does feel that you're in the hands of a director who's, it's certainly the certain intercuts, the edit, and that kind of thing. It's very stylized, and it's very well done. Ty West is a good director, essentially. Let me see. The violence is quite well done when there's violence on screen, and I especially like the crocodile or / gator bit. The kill with the gator, I thought was awesome. I thought that was a blast. Yeah. What I didn't like, the only
suspenseful scene in the movie was that crocodile bit.
Yeah. I would agree with you, man. I would agree. What I didn't like about this movie was its pacing. It feels so long, this film. It takes
too long to get going, doesn't it?
It is. It's
nothing
a long
happens in the
time. Absolutely. I mean, it's an hour plus. It's a long time before it becomes a slasher movie. And is it really a slasher film, or is it a film really of just about sex obsessed? The whole movie is all about sex, really. In many shapes or forms, and people that are obsessed with it, people who can still do it and can't do it because they're too old. Blah 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 blah. Let me see. It feels like almost a homage movie to the porn industry rather than an actual horror film. And I think if it was like what's the name of the Dirk Diggler movie again with Mark Wahlberg in, that was a homage to the porn industry?
I don't remember.
We know the movie. Anyway. If it was something like that, if it decides
Boogie Nights.
That's it, Boogie Nights. If it decides to be like Boogie Nights, I think I would probably like it a little bit more. But for me, the horror doesn't work with the subject matter. I don't know. It's a confused little movie, I thought. Let me see. It felt like it was a porn industry homage movie with violence tacked on there to sell it to a horror audience. That's what it felt like. And also, mate, for me, there was just far too much granny shagging in that movie. Like naked grannies all over the place.
I agree there, mate.
Touch me.
The most disturbing part of the movie, even for all the kills at the end, that's the worst thing. It's just depressing to watch. I don't want to see that shit, man.
Exactly. So for me, mate, ultimately the movie feels long and flat. You don't particularly care about any of the characters at all, although they're not particularly bad.
Nah, you don't.
It's just flat. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm not saying that they're good people. You just don't really care. It kind of breezes on with this kind of attitude. And I think the characters that I like most out of the film were the coppers, because at least they got like some one-liners. And there was a little bit about them. Like I said, the little flashes of violence, the gunshot to the camera boom girl, I thought was great when she runs out the house and she goes.
That was unexpected, wasn't it?
Really like that. But ultimately, mate, it's a flat 5 out of 10 film for me.
Yeah, The last half an hour it does pick up, but all that old people stuff still going on in that last half an hour. It seems like it's the only way they can get off with each other is to like kill people together, and then they can do it. Is that why they're doing it? Because otherwise, I have no idea why what was happening.
Maybe in that movie Pearl, we're going to find out, why why that dynamic's there or not. But I'm not sure after X whether I want to go and watch Pearl. You know what I mean? But at least
I didn't care. I didn't care either way. I didn't like the story. I didn't find it interesting or enjoyable. I didn't like what was going on screen. I didn't find any enjoyment whatsoever from the movie. Like I said, if they decided to go and make a killer crocodile movie instead, which I'm sure they could have, I would have enjoyed it much more. Those are the two best bits in the movie with the crocodile. Yeah. But the rest of it, I mean, the kills were decent enough, but they just kind of happened because nobody knew what was going on. So they just come out of nowhere and you get a kill, and then it moves on to the next one, and then
your two bad guys. Yeah, your two bad guys in the movie die by folly. The guy dies of a heart attack because one of his victims goes boo, and like, okay, that's one down, and the other one dies because the shotgun kick knocks her. And I'm like, well, she's not my final girl because she hasn't done shit. Oh yeah, she drives over her head at the end. You know what I mean? But there wasn't even that final girl thing with Mia Goth for me anyway. You know what I mean? It was yeah. I mean, listen, some creepy moments with the touching in where she crawls into bed with Mia Goth and she's touching her skin. It's creepy and all that, and it's uncomfortable. But I was promised a slasher movie, and I got a granny shagging movie. What's that about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, enough said about that. But I really did not want to watch. I only watched it a few months ago, and I really didn't like it. It wouldn't be totally the wrong way, and it just like reinforced everything I didn't like about the movie. The second time I watched it, I was like, I still don't like this movie. Nothing could convince me that it was a decent movie. Like you say, it's well made. It looks good. It's got some nice little touches, little flourishes here and there.
Yep.
But that first hour is just like
a slog.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I was thankful when they started getting killed off because at least something was happening that was a little bit interesting, a little bit different.
10
got enough the kills like when they did happen. They were like nicely over the top.
Yeah.
By then, man, I was out because I didn't like the antagonists. It was like I didn't want to see it, man. I'd rather see a masked killer or something. But that there was just didn't like it. One little.
I would 10 bucks. What are you giving that one?
I'll give it a 4. Just for the cool little kills there that's dotted around the last half an hour, but that's it. There's nothing else I could recommend from that movie. Okay. I'm surprised so many people liked it, to be honest.
So many people love that movie. It's weird. It's got. You know, there's a third part coming now called Maxine. So there's Pearl,
really,
and they've just announced they're making a third part to the story. It's going to be a trilogy. What the fuck?
Amazing. Right, let's get the comments. Dutch film buff. Come on, Vass, you like X. Come on, I like it. Isn't that not totally obvious? I'll never be liking that movie. Dave, thanks to Projectionist Friend, I got to see The Sword and the Sorcerer mostly in the theatres for free. Nice one, mate. Way back then, the Projectionist Friend let me see most of Sword and the Sorcerer in the theatres while I was waiting to go see another movie for free in the cinema. We all need friends like your friend, mate, Dave.
Friends like yours, absolutely.
Yeah. Dave, I always mention that I'm 52 because I don't know. It's kind of set context for how I got to see these movies in the theaters. Just kind of like, yeah, absolutely, mate. Dutch film buff. It's a film about having sex, the pleasures of the body when you're young, and then the degradation of the body when you get older. The themes work great, I believe. Yeah, you got anything to say about that, Pete?
I mean, he's absolutely correct. That's what it's about. You know, I think
it doesn't make any better film, though, does it?
Well, it's just, you know, it's just not my cup of tea because, like you, Vass, I think it's well made and everything like that. So, therefore, if that is its purpose of what it wants to show you or anything like that, then fair play. I guess it's achieved its target, but it's just not my cup of tea. It's, you know, like I say, for all the reasons I said.
That West guy, you must know, like, that there's going to be an audience for that movie. I mean, and there is an audience for that movie, but it just ain't us. It just ain't us.
It just ain't us.
Yeah. Dutch film buff says Ty West always makes slow burners. Yeah, he does. I like his work.
The Innkeepers is a crazy slow burner.
Yeah, it totally is. It's like it almost gets there, and then it just doesn't. Yeah. Then it just goes on a bit longer. Then it almost does something, and it just goes. I don't like movies like that, man. It's like you see the potential, but he just kind of, I don't know. It feels like I don't know what he's waiting for. What the heck's he
House
waiting
of the
for?
Devil, mate, was the first time I watched it because of its slow, because of its so much of a slow burner. I really didn't like it, and then I went back and watched it, and I got it. It clicked. I love House of the Devil.
You know, Pete, that's 100%. That's exactly the same thing that happened to me. I watched that movie and I didn't know what the fuss was about, and I thought it was slow, and then I watched it the second time, a good few years afterwards, and I thought, wow, that's a fucking good film. That man, it's a really good film.
It's a
like once you're kind of drawn into the movie,
yeah.
I think that's his problem. He doesn't. For me, his films, they don't draw me in. But once I was drawn in, then and I got it, I was along for the ride, and I didn't really mind that it was slow and that because it was a good film. But
absolutely,
a lot of his other movies, man, they just don't draw me in at all.
No.
And I need to be in for it.
Yeah.
Dutch Gumbo, the first hour is a celebration of sex. That's why I didn't like it, mate.
I would agree with that as well.
I want to watch a horror film, goddammit. Dave, plus me saying I'm 52 now, I think it pre-explains how I get to see Jaws twice in theaters in 1975 type fun. Just to give a snapshot of my timeline, I suppose, in a good way. Yeah, man.
Dave, we appreciate your detail and your stories, so keep them coming.
Absolutely, man. On the next stream, I'll just, as soon as Dave comes on, I'll just comment. Dave's 52, by the way, guys. Dutch Film Book, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Wow.
It's not unusual.
A very good film, he said.
People love it, yeah, absolutely.
And you're allowed to like it, man. There's no harm in it. It's a bag of shit, though. Right, Pete, we're going to get on to this final movie, which was today's movie. And I did watch it today as well.
Yep.
And it is Maniac from 2012.
Yes.
And have you seen this movie before? Have you seen the movie before?
I watched this movie, Nate. I saw it once.
Yeah.
I saw it once. I went out and bought it, and it stayed in cellophane for 3 or 4 years. It's been on my shelf, and I've never even opened it until today.
Okay.
Because it's one of those movies that you're not in a rush to watch twice, if that makes sense. But I bought it because I appreciated its craft and whatnot, which I'll get into in a bit. But it's directed by a chap called, I can't understand my own writing, Frank Valfaun.
I think it's Calfoon or something, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Calfoun? Yes, it is. Sorry. Frank Calfoun, who also made the movie P2, which I really liked. And he's an interesting little bit of tidbit for you. He was Jimmy in High Tension. He was Jimmy, the gas attendant. The guy who worked in the gas station.
Oh, real?
It's Jimmy. And that's how he knows Alexander Aja, who he works
because he produced Maniac. Right, okay.
He produced P2. So he's Jimmy in High Tension.
Good fact, man. That's a good fact. I didn't put that together at all.
Exactly.
Nice
no,
one.
I didn't. Right, okay. This movie stars Elijah Wood as Frank Zito, the maniac from this film. And boy, is he a fucking maniac. Have
you seen the original, Pete, by the way?
Say again?
Have you seen the original?
No. Oh, I've never seen the original.
Have you seen the original Maniac?
No, I've not seen it. Can you hear me?
No. Carry on.
No,
I've not seen it either, but carry on.
No, I've not seen it. So essentially the setup for this movie is the maniac from the movie is already a maniac. He's already killing people, and he's stalking at night women and killing them. The very first scene in the movie is him inside his truck, and he is looking at one particular woman, which he follows back to her house and promptly kills her by putting a knife straight through her chin. That goes, you see it through her mouth, it goes into her brain or whatever, and straight away, a nice little subtle use of CG, the lights go out in her eyes, and then boom, big letters, Maniac pops up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
By fuck, you're watching it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Movie.
Absolutely. So essentially, the setup's there. He's already killing. He spends his days basically rebuilding old antique mannequins in his mannequin store. And one day, a lady called Anna. Yeah, she do. A lady called Anna shows up, and she's actually outside taking photographs of his mannequins. And he says, you know, what are you doing? She says, oh, I'm having an art exhibition, and you know, I really love mannequins, blah blah blah. And the friends, they hit it off as friends, but Frank really seems to take a shine to Anna, and you know, potentially a romantic interest. Then Caesar, you get the feeling that Caesar is some form of redemption for him, perhaps, but all at the same time, he can't control his macabre wants and night stalking, and further victims are taken throughout this movie in very graphic fashion. So that's the setup for the film. Right, what I liked about this film, I thought it was stunningly shot. I've seen point of view, and a lot of this movie is shot in a point of view where you're seeing through Frank's eyes constantly.
I like that very much as well. I like that, the POV style.
You know, other point of view movies that are...
you don't see Elijah Wood that much in the movie because it's all so much point of view, and then you'll just see his reflection. But I really like that. That's a nice
the only time it becomes a movie, when he kills somebody, he kind of comes out of himself, and you see outside his body, that type of thing. And it's very much done so on purpose, which is great. I love the way it was shot. His point of view and the camera work in this movie. I've seen other point of view movies like Hardcore Henry, and it's fucking shoddy as fuck. This is steady cam stuff. It's planned out. It's choreographed, much like Wreck was very choreographed, that kind of thing. Very similar, and it's very easy to watch. It's not jarring whatsoever. Like I say, it looks fantastic. The subtle use of the camera in certain scenes as well tells you what's going on in Frank's mind. There's a scene where a very upset Anna, she's grieving the death of a friend who Frank just fucking killed, by the way.
It was the agent as well, wasn't it? It was their agent as well.
She's crying away, and he, as a friend, should be listening to her story and her tales of woe at this point in time. His eye view pans down to the necklace with human hair that she's wearing, and it's all about me. It's all about Frank, and he's a ticking fucking time bomb, this guy. So I loved the subtle use of CG with the practical effects. He's choking this girl at one point, and her face changes colour, which it had to have been CG unless he was really fucking choking her. These subtle uses of CG with the practical, and the practical effects in this movie are they're dead on. Like, they are dead on. Let me see. It's unrelenting. I thought it pays, you know, tribute to the original Maniac, and I haven't seen the original Maniac, but there is a scene that where he decapitates somebody. It's either a decapitated head or a scalp, and he turns, and the reflection is on a car bonnet, and it's the cover from the original Maniac movie. It's the actual cover where he's holding it.
I think that's not at all.
No, I thought that was awesome. Let me see. There's no redemption for your main character. There's no let off for Frank. You're never on his side in this movie. He's a bastard in this movie. He's a nasty man. So it doesn't glamorize his killing of these women. It's really quite sadistic. It's just, you're supposed to be disgusted by it, and it plays it just kind of pitch perfect in on that score. It feels like, and I've wrote down here, it feels like you're watching something that's forbidden, which I guess is supposed to be the purpose of the movie. Stuff I didn't like. Sometimes in the movie, which I thought was quite jarring, it felt like Elijah Wood's voice work was done not in the moment, but after the fact in the studio, and he's watching the footage. Because some of it doesn't really marry up to the emotional side of things of what's going on the actual screen. And it kind of plays, some of the dialogue kind of plays like a PS4 game. that kind of fucking...
Right, I get you. Yeah.
Kind of
like voice acting.
Yes. I mean, it took me a little bit out, but really is kind of a small gripe. And the only other thing I wrote on the dislike was, you know, it's fucking depressing. It's a fucking depressing film, this. But nonetheless, the craft of this film and everything that's on screen, you know, gives it a solid 7 out of 10 for me. Like, you know, it's a good movie.
All right.
But it's not a movie that I want to watch every Halloween, that kind of thing. It's I mean, the chase scene at the end is, you're so hopeful that Anna is going to escape, and you think she is, and every time you think she is, she just gets nailed again. And Frank always seems to get away with it, type of thing, but he doesn't at the end. He gets his weapons, which is good. But yes, solid 7 out of 10 for me, mate.
That's good, man. I liked the music in the movie. I thought the music was really good. I don't know if it's the same music as the original, but all that music, like the very synthy sort of score, I like that very, very much. Absolutely. And like you said, I like the POV stuff, which is like, it's a big chunk of the movie, but it's a really good device that they've used there. I thought, because he's such a bad dude, but Elijah Wood is kind of likable, despite being like really like a creep and being like a twisted murder type dude with mommy issues. But I thought he was quite likable in the movie, so I didn't hate him. It kept me watching the movie, and I thought the movie was like, the storytelling was very, very good. I kind of understood everything that was happening, why it was happening, and they explained everything really, really well. I like that. I thought it was a bit repetitive with the kills. It was like the same thing happening over and over again. It didn't happen too many times, but I found that quite repetitive. It always started the same way. He sees a girl, follows the girl, scalps the girl, takes it home, sticks it on a mannequin. But it was happening like, but it was really well made. It was artistic, and didn't all feel like I imagined the original would be like it seems like it's a really sleazy film, but this just does not feel sleazy like in any way. And I'm really put off by like films that feel sleazy. I don't like that sort of stuff, like Killer and stuff like that. Movies I have seen that like that. That's why I don't like Friday the 13th Part 5, because it feels really sleazy when I watch it. Like, I don't like that stuff. But this one was like nice and like polished, and I was really well done. And I like the last 20 minutes. I like the way everything just kind of unravels. And I like that kill. I like the kill with Anna's boyfriend with the meat cleaver in the face. That was neat. I enjoyed that very much. So it was a decent movie, but like you say, I didn't enjoy watching people getting scalped. It didn't do anything for me. I mean, it was in its own way. It was cool what they were doing, but I didn't.
You feel for every one of the victims. It's such a horrific situation.
It was horrific. It was definitely. Like a lot of these movies you watch this week. It definitely held its own, like in comparison for it being like a full-on slasher type movie. But again, it's the flaw that I find with all these movies, that they're not scary, and there's nothing scary in this movie. There's not much suspense in it, not much tension in it. All the things that I really seek out in these types of movies. If it's gonna be a slasher I enjoy, those are the reasons why I would enjoy them. But for what it was absolutely fine. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first time round. I was really put off by the movie the first time round. But this time I could see what was good about it, and I liked what was good about it. It was a well-made movie with a well-told story. And like characters you can follow. I think I'll give it a 6.5. Because, like I said, if it had those bits that I really like about slashes, I would give it a higher mark. But it didn't. But for what it was, and if people like those types of things, I think the movie delivers. I think it totally delivers. I think it's very much kind of the music, man. The music was really, really good, man. It really kind of carried me in the bits where I was like feeling I'm not really digging this, but the music really carried it for me.
The music credit was by a chap called just Rob. Which is weird, because I think on High Tension the music's by someone called Baxter, so maybe this Baxter and Rob are the same person. I don't know, because it's a similar kind of electric score type of thing, but the music was top notch. Like
it's a good role for Elijah Wood. Like it's something you don't see him.
No.
When you don't expect it from him, but he carried it off.
Well, I think with Elijah Wood is Elijah Wood's kind of is behind the scenes behind quite a lot of horror productions.
Yeah,
and
I heard that,
gets
yeah.
involved. You know,
He's a fan of horror, but I don't
definitely.
think
Kudos
horror
to
either,
him.
but
Yeah, it's a brave one, like, to be fair, and sometimes it's a little bit jarring, you know, seeing Frodo fucking killing folk, like. But I have to say, you know, in this movie, you know, he's meeting girls online, he's stalking girls, and all this, blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking, Jesus, man, Elijah gets more ass than a toilet, man. You know, I mean, the girls like Elijah Wood. How, you know, was he like 5'2"?
Yeah, when he goes on that first date, you're thinking, well, yeah, if he just plays it cool, he'll be absolutely fine, man. He's got this starter, but he had to go and kill him.
He had to.
He's had to go and kill him. I'm like, well, you didn't need to do that, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what mummy issues do.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. Right, that was the last movie we watched. Today's movie. Before we carry on, let's have a look at the comments. Where we are here. Oh, that was for X. Dutch Film Buff really likes X. Dutch Film Buff. The Innkeepers could also be watched as a movie about a socially awkward girl obsessed with ghosts who goes mad after seeing a ghost we as an audience don't get to see. Think about it. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Totally.
Think about movies. It's show don't tell, innit? That's why I like movies. I like to be shown something. I want to be. I want a bit of payoff. I want a bit of payoff.
I do like my creepers as well. You know,
Yeah.
I do like that. I like to feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up when I watch a good creeper. Like, to be fair.
Right, Dave says, thank you guys. Thank you, Pete. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Mad Love. Oh, thanks, man, Dave.
You man?
Dave's a man.
Yes.
And thank you, man. You're so welcome, mate. I'm really happy when you turn up on these streams, mate. Dave, Elijah Wood is the Maniac. I thought was okay. Okay-ish. The original, though, was way more disturbing and a different kind of good fun. This new version, I don't know. I didn't find it as creepy.
So the first one's creepy then. Okay. I like that.
Dutch Film Buff, I enjoyed the stream, guys. Have to go. Keep up the good work. Thanks, matey. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the recommendation. That's amazing.
Yeah, totally, man. Good shout. Dave, I give the older version an 8 out of a Boosty 10. The new version a 6 out of Boosty 10. Well, same for us.
Gonna have to check out the original, I think.
Yeah, you check it out first and let me know if you know. I'm gonna like.
You know, it's easy.
Let me know if you think I'm gonna like it or not, because you know exactly what I'm gonna like.
Okay.
Right, so yeah, that was Slasher Week. Next week is Monster Week. Is that right, Pete?
Monster Movie Week. Shall I read them out?
Oh yes, please, man. Save me the trouble.
Problem. So, right, okay.
What's tomorrow's movie?
Tomorrow's movie is Gremlins 2. Okay.
The new batch. Awesome.
The new batch. So more comedy. But you know what? The Gremlins are monsters, mate. So you know it works. They are little monsters. Okay. Staying with the theme of little monsters, the following day we've got Ghoulies 2, which is depressing for me because I've never actually seen Ghoulies 1, but I've seen Ghoulies 2 a whole lot.
Have you really?
Yeah. It's the I don't know why, but I've seen it a whole lot when I was a young'un, and it's the one in the carnival, if my memory serves me rightly. Anyway, so that one's going to be a bit of a slog for me, I think. Right. I think that, but
when was the last time you watched it? Do you remember how long it's been since you watched it?
It's got to be a good 10 years. It's got to be a good 10 years, yeah. So you never know. It might kick my ass. You never know. I might like it. Okay, the following day we've got Basket Case.
I like your optimism, mate.
Yes. The following day we've got Basket Case, the original, which I've never seen.
Yeah.
Never seen. Have you seen?
Yeah, 2 out of 3 so far. I've not seen.
Right.
I'm not giving you the visa. Sorry, 2 out of 3 I've never seen.
2 out of 3. So yeah, Basket Case. So now this movie does look, low tech and sleazy, Vass. So it certainly looks low tech and sleazy. So we'll see what we think of that. Then we've got the day after. We've got The Relic with Tom Sizemore. Which I like this movie. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I like. I saw this movie at the pictures, and every time I've seen it, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I think it's on iPlayer, so I might watch it on there. Yeah, pretty sure it's on iPlayer, like permanently on iPlayer all the time.
Okay. Then we've got the day after. We've got Host, which I'm pretty sure is the host. The host.
The Korean one. The Korean one, yeah.
Korean one, yeah. Which I love this movie, so I'm quite happy about that. I own this movie.
You own it. Nice one.
Yeah, I own this movie.
One I really enjoyed when I saw it. It's been a while.
It's been a while for me on this one as well, but yeah, I'm sure I still love it. The following day, we've got Watchers 2. Watchers 2.
Are we going to be able to find that film? I wonder if it's on YouTube.
I've downloaded it. So if you need the link, I'll send the link. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice one.
Got that one ready. So Watchers 2 with the dude from V.
Right.
Not
I like the dude from V. He might make the movie better than what I'm thinking it's going to be.
Is that right? Mark Singer?
Yeah, Mark Singer, yeah.
Mark Singer. So fingers crossed. And then we finish up Monster Movie Week with Pumpkinhead. Vengeance the Demon, which I'm super excited about because I haven't seen it in absolute donkeys, and I love this film. Yeah. So I am super excited about that, mate. So that is
all the films. I think I'm most excited to see that one. It has been a while for me as well, and I do remember it used to be a big film when we were kids, wasn't it? It was like one of the main movies to watch.
Yeah, the thing that stands out in my mind, I just remember somebody with a gun put through his stomach, and then the demon kind of holds him up like that. I've got that kind of stamped in my mind. Can't remember much else, but I remember Lance Henriksen and also being quite a sad movie as well. So I'm looking forward to rediscovering it, and I'll maybe get the kids involved, saying, let's check this movie out. And fingers crossed they'll like that one. Don't you hate it when you show your kids a movie that you say is awesome and they think it's shit?
I know, yeah, I do that all the time with my family, and they'll be scrolling through Netflix or whatever, and they'll ask me, "Is this movie good?" And I say, "Oh, that one's really good." And they'll watch it the next day. They went, "Oh, I didn't like it." I watched House. Oh, I didn't like it. I'm like, "It's House. How can you not like House?" It's awesome.
I'm the same as you, and my entire family don't see why I like House, and I'm like, "You're fucking joking! It's amazing. What are you talking about? It's an 85-minute thrill ride. What are you talking about? There's comedy in there. There's monsters in there. It's scary. Big Ben at the end.
Yeah. You're pissing me off, Roger. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. No, it's genius. Yeah. But, I think the one my daughter quite likes manga and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, manga. And I thought, yeah, cool. I like Stephen Chow movies. I thought, I'm going to show you some fucking Stephen Chow movies. So I put on Kung Fu Hustle. I was like, let's start with Kung Fu Hustle, and then we'll do Shaolin Soccer afterwards. She never saw Shaolin Soccer because she fucking hated Kung Fu Hustle. And I'm like, how can you hate Kung Fu Hustle?
It's so much fun.
It's brilliant. Do you know what? On every single format that ever comes out, I always buy Kung Fu Hustle just to make it's my comfort movie, man. I love that fucking film. Like, it's brilliant. And Shaolin Soccer it's a work of art, but yeah. What can you do, mate? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same.
They're missing out. That's all. What can you do?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So that is our week of monster movies that we've got next week, mate. So there's some dubious ones in there, right enough, but there's some good ones. What if you had to sum up your week of slasher week this week? How would you sum up your week?
I'd say full of gruesomeness and horribleness and stabby. It's just blood and guts, man. The whole week was just blood and guts. Like I said, I'm a bit desensitized by it. It's not my favorite part of movies, but yeah, like I said, I could have done with like one scary movie would be nice, or one movie full of suspense. And I got a bit of that from Texas Chainsaw, but yeah.
Well, I think the weird thing for me is,
I'll tell you what it is. If I can quickly say it, when it comes to slashers, I prefer supernatural slashers. And the flipping worst movie we watched was the only one that was supernatural. Was The Slayer, and that was it was so bad. It was awful.
It supernatural or who knows, man? I don't even know if it was supernatural. I think they just said, "Hey, we need something at the end of this movie," and this guy walked past. It was Halloween or something. And they went, "You go and raw at the top of that blooming staircase for us, pal. I'll give you $20. Yeah, no problem. Raw." And then they went, brilliant, perfect. It was all a fucking monster. Happy days. Let's get the fuck out of here. Studio's gone bankrupt.
How was that movie video nasty, man? How was it? It doesn't make sense. I mean, why would they ban that film? There was nothing in there that was worth banning. No, that was another movie where people were getting killed with pitchforks as well.
It's true. Aye, that's true. So we had the Prowler, Pitchfork, we had Slayer, Pitchfork, and we had X, Pitchfork. What the fuck's up with Pitchforks?
You're right, man. 3 out of 7.
Fucking, that's nuts. That is nuts. Well, the weird thing for me, I mean, I enjoyed the week. Dream Home was a total gem for me. And, we discovered this week, because of Dutch. So thank you again. So that was a nice, I loved discovering little gems. I loved revisiting High Tensions, which was romance again. I enjoyed Maniac again. So for those movies, I've enjoyed the week rather than I've not enjoyed the week for sure. But what I will say was our slasher movies were way more disturbing than our disturbing category.
Easily, man. They were full on, man. Absolutely full on. I thought it was funny in the Prowler. How was that army dude hauling around this big bloody pitchfork in the whole movie? How was he doing that? It didn't see it once unless he was using it. It just kind of appeared out of nowhere. You didn't see it like strapped to his back or anything, did you? He had knives on him. Yeah. He had a gun. Why didn't he just use them? You know what I mean? Why didn't he just use them? He actually had fucking like commando style, all that kind of stuff. Just use them. Yeah, I actually made a kill count video of the Prowler. I made it today actually. I uploaded it onto here, but then I thought maybe I shouldn't show it. I might get it might do something to the stream because it's there's a few boobies in there and whatever. So
right, copyright.
It's like a minute and a half as well. I thought I don't want to watch that for a minute and a half, maybe. But because I was just thinking that's the best thing about the movie was the kills. If I just grab all the kills, put them together, I might upload it on my channel anyway.
Upload it, man. I'll give that a video. I mean, to be honest with you, the Prowler was it was reassuring the 80s type of thing. You know, it was bad, but it was good.
Yeah, like I said, it was run of the mill, wasn't it? It was definitely like one of the run of the mill ones. I've seen loads worse than that movie, but yeah,
100%, man, 100%. The Slayer. Like I said, the Slayer was my worst part of this week. Like I was genuinely depressed that a filmmaker shattered that out to the general public, called it a movie, and
that's still like I can't believe it's not like a totally forgotten movie. Like you think it would have like just sank without a trace, but obviously I think they've like re-released it and all sorts. And I'm like, who the hell wants to watch this movie?
It must be like kind of like Troll 2 bad type of thing,
It's not even that. At least, yeah. There's no fun at all to be had in that movie. Not one little bit.
Nah, sometimes very bad movie.
Yeah.
Receive a cool following.
Yeah. So we're going to be here, same time, same channel next week with our Monster Week, and and we'll see what we make of those movies. And in between times, we'll see what else new is coming out this week. Any idea? Is there anything new coming out this week? Must be a few things.
Well, we've got Halloween's going to end on October the 14th.
Oh, is that okay? Great.
Yeah. So we've got Halloween ends the big one, of course. And we've got I can't remember the name of the movie, mate, but we've got the new movie by the guy who did Parasite, and I saw the trailer for it. I think that's dropping also. It's either this week or next week.
Yeah,
but,
it's not a horror film though, is it?
Looks like it's got horror elements. There's something wrong. Yeah,
right.
It looks. It's about a couple that come together by the trailer, and I think there's something off about either the lady or the bloke, and it's some kind of thriller, maybe a little bit of horror running through its veins. So that might be worth a watch. But the big one's got to be Halloween Ends this week, mate. On October the 14th, it will drop, and I'm pretty sure that most of the horror public will have seen it by Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So
like 1,000 reviews come out like it was with Hellraiser.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's got to be the one, I think. And then there'll be other stuff, and I'm pretty sure that there's other stuff dropping on Netflix and Hulu and all these things as well. But we'll just have to wait to see. But that's the one that stands out there. Yeah. Right.
Well, let's wrap up with these comments and let's take off.
No problem.
My back's killing us right now. I'm an old man. Right. Right, let's have a look. Have we done this one? If you're wrapping up soon, I'll see you next week, guys, as usual. Thank you so much for letting me babble about horror movies as well. It's no problem, mate. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure having you in. Yeah, totally. Dave, again, Coolies Oh, Ghoulies 1, 2, and 3 are kind of fun, almost like a Puppet Master type fun. I don't think I've seen part 4 yet. Did they make 4? Really?
Wow.
Good ones. Puppet Master is another one of them franchises where I've just not.
Yeah, it's passed me by that one.
Yeah. The first 3 Ghoulie movies I like. Part 4, I haven't seen it yet. Enjoy the stream. See you next week. See you, Rabia. I'll probably see you in about 10 minutes. All right, Sean, mate. How's it going? Caught us right there at the end. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. And have a good week. Watch some good horror films, and yeah, take it easy, people. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much,
folks. Thanks for stopping by, and we've been the Horror Live Streams Matter Show. I'm Vas, and this is Pete. Say goodbye, Pete.
Goodbye, and sleep well.
Take care, everybody.